Good evening, everyone. Welcome to All Roads Lead to Rome. Tonight we have episode 41, Bukaphos. This is a Vampire the Masquerade game intended for mature audiences. Our important NPCs tonight we have Ihamus Eushopsis. He is a follower of Set and is currently helping the characters. We have Falzia, Nicodemus' mentor and a Cappadocian. And on the right, you see Bukaphos, the Lasombra himself, one of the three acknowledged masters of the discipline of obtenebration. So, thank you everyone for joining us. I hope you enjoy listening to it, and have a good evening. Well, thanks everybody for joining us again. This is session 41. I'm going to do a quick recap of last game. You guys traveled through Mycenae, and then you got to Corinth. And at Corinth, it got pretty dicey. You had a encounter where you decided we're going to run out of the city, and then you got summoned back into it. And Christina the Acadian was waiting for you, and she proceeded to kill Icarus, who, well, for selfish reasons, he tried to kill her himself. Obviously did not work. However, his fight allowed Alethea, who had been following in secret, allowed her to descend and to at least save two others. So that happened. Then you made it to Athens, and you figured out how to go talk to Shalmuth the Bruja, the Keeper of the Chronicles. And you met Sybil the Nosferatu there, who has joined up with your group. And the goal tonight, as this is a start of a new night, I believe Nicodemus is going to be reading all night long. And you as a group wanted to go talk to Iontius. Does that sound accurate?
Yeah, for...
What I remembered, yes.
Okay. So, do a little housekeeping. Make sure you guys' blood expenditures are accurate. Make sure you have regained a willpower point for having a good, safe night of sleep, or safe day of sleep, I should say.
What is my blood pool, by the way?
I
Because
pretty much start everybody at full. I don't make people roll for it, so it's full minus 1 for Sybil.
for the duration of me staying in Athens, did I learn anything about the person we are going to see?
Yes, he hates his job.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, he absolutely hates his job. He hates being the leader. It's boring as hell to him. He'll tell you where to stay out of, which you already know. And after that, he really doesn't care. Because, again, he hates his job. He is an elected official here.
Elected?
It is an election here.
What? Wait, does others know that too?
They elect him for a period of approximately 10 years at a time.
We're in Athens, man. Shit happens.
Yeah. But, like, if Kotri does not know that, I will probably share it out of, I don't know, in downtime or
Shalma
something.
told us about it.
Right.
So, Shalmuth has taken Nicodemus through one of the doors and set him down at a table and given him some documents. Unfortunately, many of the documents Nicodemus cannot actually read, despite his vast command of the written word. But those that he can read, I have already talked to him a little bit about what he will find in there. So, he will be spending most of the night going over that information. So it's up to the rest of you guys to take care of business tonight.
I believe we should head out to meet with the leader of the city, right? Make arrangements for feeding and shelter and all.
Ihama states that he has no objections.
I do think Laviena might be curious as to what's in that library as well.
I have no doubt.
We can check later. Let's just get business out of the way first.
Fair enough.
Do I know where the prince is?
He is going to meet everyone in the public area of the city. It's called the Agora. It's the name of the public areas. When you
Is it?
exit the library, it is close by. It is within 5 minutes walk, actually. When you exit, it is actually raining outside. That driving spring rain. So if you have some sort of reading or writing implement on you, you're going to have to take extra precautions to protect it.
Okay.
Anything that's perishable by water.
Ah, gotcha.
Probably obfuscate does not work on rain.
Well, it makes stealth a lot easier, though. Just pull your hood up and keep it drawn around your face so they can't see it.
Well, I am totally okay with going to Agora.
Hat will double wrap. Make sure to keep her all her stuff well wrapped.
Okay?
I probably have my stuff on the, I don't know, small room I always slept in for the past month or something, probably. Like, I will probably take them before I leave the city.
Right. You've been in that room for several years now, actually, so... Ihamas has very little, actually, to protect. He just puts his normal stuff on, his amulets, has his money purse up under his robes. He has a travel cloak on. Other than that, he's ready to go.
Let's get going then.
So, so, my dear friends, if you follow this path and turn from the left and turn to right and then go straight, we will see the Agora.
Alright, so you guys take off. You follow her admirable directions through the maze of streets in the city. And the city is wondrous indeed. It is Athens. It is large. Even through the rain, you still sense that its people hold it in such high regard. Yes, the problems of the people in the big city are very apparent. There's human waste everywhere. There's trash shoved back between the buildings. But there's also public pride, statues, carvings, everywhere. Wherever you look, there's something there. Something that shows the civic pride in the city. The walk to the Agora is pretty straightforward. You show up and you begin walking through the areas, and underneath a covered shelter, as you get in and out of the driving rain, there is a man with he has wavy blonde hair, dark eyes, pretty good looking guy. He's sitting in traditional Greek clothes, and he's kind of on this little bench, like carved into the wall, and he's got a woman draped across his lap. And he whispers to her and talks. Perception plus awareness, everybody. Sight based, Auspex will help you here.
So difficulty?
6, standard difficulty. 6.
So did you say alertness?
Awareness.
Awareness. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Oh wait.
I think it's same either case, so it does not matter for me.
Yeah. All right, Hatshepsut, you definitely are aware of this.
Hang on. I just may need a second. I think my stats may still be buffed from the session before. Not last session, but the session, because obviously I wasn't here, but the session before. I just need to check my offline sheet and make sure.
Yeah, that's okay. Anyways, Hatshepsut sees this. Albina, you think there's something funny about this guy, but you're not really sure. But Hatshepsut, for sure, you see the delicate fangs come out of his mouth, and he slips his teeth into her neck, and she immediately begins to, her skin, her hands begin to flutter in pleasure as the pleasure of the kiss overwhelms her. And he slowly enjoys taking just a little bit of blood from her. His eye, as he's feeding, his eyes looks up and they meet your eyes. So he knows you're there, and he knows that you know he's there. And he just takes his time, just gently taking a little bit, and he licks the wound shut, and he obviously savors the taste of the blood. And he whispers something in the lady's ear, and she passes out in his arms. And then he lays her down on the floor and beckons to all of you to approach.
I will do so.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's what I thought. I'm just going to readjust.
Open our heads for him.
Okay. Ihamus goes with him as well. Sybil, I assume you approach too.
Yeah.
And Labiana as well.
Yeah.
All right.
I was just going to say, I'll just quickly make this roll, even though it's a bit late. But yeah, I just had to amend my sheet. Just Div 6, was it?
Correct.
Oh, is that with...
That's not counting Auspex. If you're using Auspex, it's Div 5. Oh, yes, you absolutely saw all of that.
Beautiful.
Okay. The prince is sitting there, completely relaxed, at his ease. Nobody around him. Just the unconscious body at his feet. His sandaled feet, I should add. And he speaks up, and his voice is quite pleasant. His voice is as pleasant as Albina's. Oh, I see my evening appointment has arrived. Let's get this over with so I can go back to something interesting. This leadership stuff is so dreadfully dull, don't you think?
Of course, Prince, as you say, it must be. Even if I have no experience with it.
You're not missing anything. It's just dreadfully boring. One meeting after another. No time for a social life.
Well, considering this reason of my friends coming here, it might be very entertaining for you after such dull experiences.
Don't get his hopes up, man.
I believe they come with very interesting offer.
Then let's hear it.
And I
He looks over at you guys as a group, obviously just waiting.
I'm looking at I'm looking at them.
Hat is looking at Nicodemus. Oh wait, no, Nicodemus isn't here. Fuck. Okay, out of character. I will admit, out of character. I'm a bit off track with what we're doing right now. Out of character.
I think the idea was that we simply make our greetings and stuff like that, but we weren't planning on inviting him to the alliance.
Well, just
Because
announcing our
that wasn't
presence.
our goal. That wasn't on our list.
Maybe they'd appreciate us getting a freebie.
I believe
Well-
you will search your memories. They said anybody else you want to invite can attend. Something similar to that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, fair enough.
We bring news that it may be relevant to yourself and perhaps some other noteworthy Knights of Athens. Have you perhaps heard of the activities of Mithras to the east?
Who hasn't?
He's in Macedonia, Prince. He's in here.
Yes, that's quite well known. He's busy putting the screws to Democritus.
Right. And my friends here, they told me that there will be an alliance made with kindreds of Rome and kindreds around those geographical places against Mithras, if I'm correct. And I look at the head.
Indeed. We wish to invite the most noteworthy and capable Knights we can find. There is to be a meeting discussing the terms of this alliance on the island of character. What was the name of? On the island of Crete, conducted under the watchful gaze of the lovely Helena. And in short, we would like to extend this offer to not necessarily just you, but you and any potential notables of this city.
I assume that's how you came to hang out with Shalmuth then.
I know.
Indeed.
I know.
He peers into Labienus' hood. You, come closer.
Labiana does so.
Take your hood down.
Of course. And she does.
One of the Cappadocians. They are so rare around here. How did you come to hang out with such a motley crew?
Well, my sire decided when they released me to send me with a group of notable kindred to God damn it. Right, you'll have to bear with me, guys. To help me in learning more about, well, for one, kindred society, and two, assisting them and the rest of Rome in whatever way they needed. Out of character, that's all I can think of.
You speak with all the grace of your own founder. He too is far too wrapped up in his books to understand how the world truly works.
Right.
I see that your sire was quite wise to send you out into the world. Books and academics will only get you so far. Eh, you're far better served to have a practical education. In the meantime, I will approve you to be here in the city. I believe you mentioned there was a unicorn with you. Where is he?
Yes, he is of a particularly scholarly mindset.
He's
I'm, af-
at the library
Shut up,
reading.
Nosferatu.
Sorry, Prince.
uh, he is of a particularly scholarly bent. I am afraid at present we would need several Elder Bruha's strength to prize him away from this library.
Ah, yes. He does seem to attract those types. Ah, well, in any case, Sybil, you are well aware of the restrictions on feeding. The rest of you, stay away from the Acropolis. Do not feed in the Agora here. If you must kill, do be sure to drop the bodies in the water. Also, be careful out there. The skin changers are not numerous, but they have been known to reside in the city. I don't care about any of the other domains in the area, but the other Toreador are quite jealous, so do be careful where you step. You never know when you might anger one of them.
Would you be able to tell us where the domains begin, my friend?
I truly don't care. I believe you have piqued my curiosity, and when my term of office is up, I will be attending this meeting in Crete. I have only a few more long, dull, boring months to go, and then I can leave.
We are going to gladly await your arrival and make sure it is as ready for your standards.
Until then, we shall take our leave. Good evening, Prince.
Yes. Good evening.
Humbly. So long, Prince.
And
Good
with that,
evening.
Hat will turn around and lead the others out. And when she's pretty certain they're well out of earshot of even Orspec's hearing range, she'll just look to them all and say, "So, he's a bit of a dick."
He is peculiar, to be sure, but I do not think that he's going to be he's antagonistic to us, which is not what can be said for many other princes.
Hmm. Anyway,
So while that's happening, Nicodemus, you are in the library with Shalmuth and beginning your studying, and you wanted to talk to him.
Yes. If he has a moment, Nicodemus would approach him. Considering where he is and what he's studying, I imagine he already has like several scrolls in his hand, as if unable to pry himself away from this treasures of lore. And even though as he approaches the elder Bruja, he cannot help but to steal a glance towards the last paragraph he's been studying, and a bit side-minded, he utters, "Keeper, I'd like to have words with you." Where was I? Oh, yes. Regarding Corinth, and perhaps not just Corinth. You see, we've we've encountered Balai in Corinth.
Ball Eye.
Yes. This is interesting. Nicodemus kind of looks at the scroll, and he's looking at one particular word as if trying to piece it out together, and he suddenly snaps back to his previous inquiry. Yes. Yeah. Did I tell you there were Barla in Corinth? In Corinth?
No, that you neglected to mention this fact.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, I should put these away. They're distracting me so much. You see, we've run into them. A very, a very. hmm, We seem to have a bad business with them, and to the point that they've made a mistake and um, allowed themselves to be revealed. It seems that the desire for vengeance is not uh, is affecting even those of the most schemish of minds. So you don't know anything about ballet in Corinth?
No. Describe this Ball Eye that you met.
There, there seem to be two ballet, in fact, and as he speaks, Nicodemus is watchful of Shalmat's emotions, and he's actually curious whether he notices any sort of duplicity, or as if some fraction of his mind being paranoid that Shalmath may in fact be in league with them.
As you stare at Shalmath, he's staring at you, and you find your mind becoming sharper and more focused, better able to concentrate on what you're trying to say and do.
Interesting, Nicodemus ponders to himself. Does it seem like it's something supernatural?
No, there's no indication. It's almost like since you've put the scrolls away, you can think better. Even though you and I know different. That for Nicodemus, it's like, oh, well, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm remembering more and more. I can come up with more details.
Very well. How is he reacting so far?
He is
Does he seem
staring at
alerted?
you quite very, very intently. You have his full attention.
Mm, there are two women. One goes by the name of Christina the Acadian, and the other one goes by. Where's my memory at? The name seemed to be only one moment at a scroll, and it was mentioned to me. Maglara Jabari. Very foreign sounding name.
Yeah,
Very
Shalmath is
unusual.
stroking his beard, doing the beard stroke thing about for when old men start to think.
Now, before we delve any more into this discussion, you have to understand something that will probably put some sort of a shade onto whole this discussion. There is no proof. There is only my testimony, and probably the testimony of my allies. But you know how balai work.
So what did you see? What did you see that made you think they're Ball Eye?
First, the one of them, we've met before, and they during the crisis of the Illyrian crisis, right? The Illyrian War. We have met her once, and she seemed to have quite a knack for summoning demons from wherever they are being summoned. And the second woman was using some kind of eldritch powers that allowed him to summon hellfire. I've studied quite a bit about Balai to know that these moves are nearly signature for them.
Did this other lady, Malagha, did she summon demons in Corinth?
No, she summoned them elsewhere during the Illyrian crisis, and Nicodemus tries to recall the name of the town where their first encounter happened. It wasn't in Corinth,
Yes. The.
fortunately.
Are you sure you saw what you think you saw?
Yes, I know what you might suggest, and the and that the tricks of the mind that may be played are numerous.
There's something you.
However, I
Please forgive me for interrupting you. There's something you must understand. Malagha Jabari and Christina are the two of the three children of Evarchus, the Prince of Corinth. They have a lineage that carries extreme weight. Second, ever since Alexander penetrated far to the east of here, there have been a slow but steady stream of new Canaanites coming. Canaanites who excel at illusion. They bend reality. Several have passed through here and were encouraged to swiftly move on. Are you sure that it was not one of these new Canaanites playing tricks on you?
if they were, how would I know? From what you say, they could be very skilled at their tricks and could play my mind without me even knowing them. You said yourself they were swiftly asked to leave. Not that tells a testimony to their prowess in it. There was a reason why I mentioned this is only and that I have no proof. But I feel you should be warned, for I've come to respect you for your appreciation for knowledge and respectful hospitality you've been given us, and considering that the matter deals with you, or more precisely, with your grandchild as well.
I thank you for this, and I will give you a piece of information in return.
I'm not
There.
quite done
Oh, do go on, please.
because I feel it's about Libres. He's been part of the negotiation team with Carthage, a part of the team which Maglara was part of as well.
Libris is capable of taking care of himself and making his own decisions. Before, let me rephrase that. If you should see him again before you descend to violence, speak with him alone and ask him what he is doing. I have a feeling that he is playing a game that is more than manipulating just the Romans. I think he's probably doing something for his own goals, and that's going to take advantage of the Carthaginians as well.
Nicodemus shakes his head a little bit and he kind of smirks in this kind of roguish way. Had it come from a different person, I would be a bit insulted that one would imply that I'd readily jump to violence at the mere suspicion. You see, I have no reason to directly assault your grandchild because I have no idea what I'm dealing with, and I'm not saying
It was not intended as an insult. Don't
You
or to imply
and
that you
us.
would inflict violence at first reaction. Simply take it as
You're concerned
oftentimes
about Libris. I
oftentimes the goals of our
understand.
kind do not align with one easy political camp.
Yeah, I think something went bad with Discord.
Yeah.
I've missed like most of that one.
So my suggestion was not to suggest that you would immediately jump to violence. I believe your Salubri warrior was the one to do that. My thought was that when you speak with him, keep in mind that the political goals of our kind are often only tangentially aligned with the goals of a political camp of mortals. I am not hearing you, Vorpal.
That's
Oh, there you
because I
go.
wasn't sure
Okay. I'm done now.
you finished.
I'm done.
Because we've been going back and forth. Anyway, I understand this. Yes. However, this whole situation has had me been has forced me to consider that the the tentacles of Balai are reaching far deep, and who knows how deep they may be wrapped around Carthaginians. And I hope for your and your grandchild's sake, you will make sure that he's not entangled with them. And please do not do not take this as a threat or a warning or whatever. But even though I have no proof, I will need to make this known to my to my superiors, and they will need to take some sort of action because a balai are not to be trifled with.
I believe you would be surprised at the lengths some elders would go to secure their own power. Now, a piece of information for you. If you should ever somehow capture one of these illusionists, there are many in Athens who would pay dearly to learn the secret of their abilities.
What do you know of them so far?
I know nothing beyond what I have already explained, but I also know that there are many here in the city alone, let alone probably your own town of Rome, that would be willing to give up more than they think possible to learn the secrets.
Now, why would these illusionists make this sort of play to make us think they're balai? To strike a quarrel between ourselves? We're already quarreled without this kind of thing.
I do not know. I can only tell you that they do not seem to adhere to any accepted method of societal interaction. They have their own way of behaving.
You make it sound like they are easy to notice, to distinguish.
I would say that you can only do it if they show themselves or by noticing what goes on around them. It took us 50 years to understand what was happening here.
What
It's
should
not
be the
easy.
first thing to look for?
I don't know how to explain that. They, as I said, they have a different outlook on the very fundamental explanations of reality. What is real and what is not. You should look for changes in how people view what is the earth, what is air, what is spirits.
That sounds like Malkavians abound.
It's not Malkavians. It took us, as I said, 50 years to understand that the newcomers were doing this.
Nicodemus sighs, and he says plainly, "Well, seems that we keep on having these threats one after another."
You may be correct. You may absolutely be. It may not be these newcomers. But you should be prepared to back yourself up. They will take the word of Evarchus over the word of even an entire united group of neonates.
Oh, I'm fully aware of that, and I doubt it would stand in front of Iontius or whomever else we can find in here that would even have the ear to listen. But I hope my message wasn't misread by you.
I have not misread it.
Well,
I hope I have not misread it.
It seems we're on the same page. And speaking of pages, I believe I still have a lot of scrolls to go through. This is all fascinating. It's shame the nights are so short. And with that, he looks towards the scrolls and he goes on to find which paragraph he stopped at.
Okay, eventually you guys make it back to the library. Everybody
The way
is
that
regathered at the front room while Nicodemus is studying in the back. So,
on the way there, can we hunt?
yes, you can. The difficulty is 6.
Alright.
So once Nicodemus is done, is there still time for him to hunt?
Yes, there's enough time. You decide when you stop studying.
Well, considering what he found, he's probably pushing it as far as possible until someone reminds me, "Hey, did you feed?" or something.
What's the difficulty of hunting roll first?
6.
Okay. How many can we make in the night?
As 5 or 6.
I was going to say you don't want us making 10.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
Is using animalism summon breaching Masquerade? Like, does
If people see you doing it.
okay, but is it like how to say it? Do you just like make animal sons and people look at you like you are crazy or something else?
It's the results that matter.
Okay.
If they see the animals all streaming towards you, that's a problem.
Right. You can assume, by the way, I'm under obfuscate because I'm, in street.
Yep.
So at some point, Nicodemus will take a break and go hunt. But beforehand, he will. Is there anyone present of the coterie in the library?
Probably me. Probably I did not want to
I'm not
hunt.
sure. Let's depends depends on how many hunting rolls you guys make.
I've made 3 and gotten very poor results on all of them.
Ooh.
I did not hunt it, like, not even once.
Yeah,
Okay.
neither did I.
So two of you are now La Biena, the front room of the library, the Kindred Library, does have scrolls and stuff in it, but they're all kind of generic. The history of Athens, some philosophy stuff, some stuff on the road of humanity. Nothing earth-shattering or that might be considered an incredibly valuable secret. But there might be some stuff here that you don't know, so that you can spend plenty of time reading through this stuff.
Okay. Oh, that's exactly what Laviena's gonna do.
Most of it is in Greek, and you can tell these are all copies.
Okay.
It is quite fascinating, this place, Ljubljana. You, I believe, will find most interesting things. But sadly, I believe we have not much time to stay in Athens. But be welcome to come back here after this matter of ours now done.
Okay, I see Albana hunted, Hatshepsut hunted. No botches, thankfully.
Nicodemus crawls out somewhere in the middle of the night, and he seems to be almost entranced by his work. He goes out and he's like, he notices Sybil, and he's like, well, how did? Oh, it's a library. How did the meeting with the prince go?
Oh, it went wonderful. He is now one of the member of alliances. Well, at least he will attend to the meeting.
Most splendid. How about feeding? He didn't cast us out, huh?
Feeding. I mean, there's like, and I tell the name of the domains and such places we should not go near, and other informations I give about hunting.
Acropolis, Agora, Frenzy, Torridors, got it. Be right back then. And he like storms out, as if feeding was some nasty, unimportant business that just needs to be done very fast.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. And my broadband started to disconnect every now and again. It does from time to time.
Alright, so Nicodemus is going to make a feeding roll. How many more rolls need to be made, and how many more nights are you guys planning to stay?
Well, I'm not doing any more, considering what I got.
Maybe stay one more night before moving on. I'd prefer to stay more, but we do kind of have to make sure we're going to business.
We're on a
So
timeline.
one extra night should give a decent balance between being able to you know, to make the most of our trip whilst still actually succeeding in it.
Agreed.
One more night. Well, I'm okay with leaving right now too, but if you say so.
Okay,
One
well,
more night?
you guys. The dawn approaches swiftly. You have all fed. You, or not, as the case may be. You return to the guest chambers underneath the library, where you fall into the daytime slumber. Above you, people come and go. in the library. They read scrolls and diary entries and political dispatches. And eventually, the sunlight begins to fade, and the patrons are ushered out. The library is closed, and the night guardsman takes his place. And your eyes all open. The sun is set, and you are just a tiny little bit more hungry as a point of blood that to sustain you mystically evaporates.
All right, try some more feeding tonight while the night's young, and then get to work on studying.
Okay? What are you. Make your feeding roll first, and then what are you going to study? Guys?
Uh,
Okay.
Sorry?
Nicodemus doesn't feed this time, as he had a plentiful during his last time. As I assume his deal was for the single night only, right?
Uh, you have quite a bit of knowledge to offer. I'm sure he would probably stretch it to let you finish reading what you had.
Okay,
Because
so
you're also copying
Nicodemus,
it, as I recall.
yeah, copying all the essential things. Um, he'd probably try and copy some of those things he doesn't understand, assuming he's able to figure out that's crucial.
Well, that's going to be tough.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're basically trying to copy picture for picture, and that's not easy. Because you don't understand what you're copying.
Well, if he figures out that's not efficient enough, and he'd probably be better off studying something he can understand. That's what Nicodemus going to do.
Yeah, that would probably be actually at this point more beneficial to you.
Hat. Okay, when she gets back, Hat is going to focus on writings on the gods and myths relating to them, of Greece and other lands, if
So
there are.
you are basically stuck then in the lobby area, unless you make a personal deal to move into the back stacks.
Yeah. Should I roll my curiosity floor again?
Yes, you should. That's gonna be
Difficult.
difficulty 7, because Nicodemus is allowed back there to the secret knowledge, and you aren't.
Grr, hiss, hiss.
Oh shit!
Okay.
Library
That's a lot.
burns down.
Well, so Hatchet comes back from hunting, and nobody else is around, really. Labiana, do you go hunt, or are you reading?
No, Labiena's reading.
Okay, so Labiana's in the lobby. Before I say what happened, what is everybody else doing? I know Nicodemus is reading. Labiana's in the lobby reading. Sybil.
I would like to hunt Dexterity Stealth with Offuscate.
All right, Dex Stealth, Diff 6, please.
Okay.
Albina.
Albina is also going to hunt, and then she's going to study the non-restricted section.
Okay. Yep, so Labiana and Albina are studying what is available out in the lobby. And remember, it is very dark. It is. There is only one candle burning to provide light. Now, this is not a problem for Albina, but for Labiana, you're kind of like tilting it towards the light, and you're straining your eyes with auspex to read because you don't want to get it too close to the flame. So So while the two of you are engrossed in the writings and Sybil is out hunting, Hatshepsut comes back and she sees the two of you busy and she looks at the doors and she's like, I bet I could slip through there. And she sneaks up and she grabs the handle and she immediately feels what we would consider to be very similar to an electric shock. Hatshepsut, please roll Fortitude only, 3 lethal damage. Soak it.
I don't have fortitude,
Okay.
so
Take 3 lethal as you are hit with just a tremendous spiritual wallop just through your hand, like a horse just kicked you right in the chest. Bam!
whoa!
And you are forced to let go as you stumble backwards in pain. Oh! And that is easily distracts Labiana and Albina from what they're studying as you cry out in pain.
Yeah, so Labiana whips her head around, notices Hatshepsut lying on the floor. Hatshepsut, are you alright? What happened?
Nothing happened. Nothing happened whatsoever. This is fine.
Are you sure?
Roll manipulation subterfuge difficulty 10.
Diff 6. Against perception plus empathy. Actually, wits empathy.
Oh,
To
hang
see
on.
through the lie.
What was the diff for me?
4.
4.
And for me it's 7 because I am the one Setite in the universe with no toxin subterfuge.
At least that's not much.
Subterfuge just a talent.
Chris has the thing rule.
Oh, okay.
I believe he makes anything you do not have +1 difficulty, but this also means you can roll anything without issue.
Yeah, almost. About 99% of stuff you can roll. Not quite anything, but quite a bit.
So
Alright, so Albina, you're like, whatever. I'm going back to my reading. Labiana, though, you are not convinced. You are pretty sure. You know what? Albina, I said diff 4, right? So, no, you got 3 successes. You both are like, no, she's lying, bitch. Hatshepsut, wits plus occult.
oh god. Botches.
Roll that botch.
Difficulty?
5.
Pre-success. Oh. As gets back up to her feet, she pauses for a moment, seemingly seemingly struck by some sort of thought, but then continues brushing herself off and spends blood and spending a bit of blood to heal the electric shock.
Yep. Okay, that's pretty much it. No alarms go off. Nobody comes rushing in. You're both staring at her like, I don't believe you, but you don't seem hurt.
Yeah. So I'm also kind of just going, she, obviously Labiana doesn't really have any ideas as to what happens, so she sees that Hatshepsut's okay and just goes, well, if you're sure. And turns back to begin reading again.
Albina does the same.
Hat is going to be periodically glancing at the door, but trying to begrudgingly make do with what's in the non-restricted section.
Okay. The night passes pretty swiftly in that manner, with you guys reading what's available. Again, you spend your daytime slumber in the guest rooms while people come and go above you. And another full day passes. And eventually the sun sets. And you all wake up ready to go. Spend another blood point. And unfortunately, I believe you set the time limit where you now must pry yourself away from this library.
Mm.
So, Mahamas gets up, he situates himself, and talks to you guys, says he'll go settle the bill and make sure the carts are ready.
So be it. I'll pack my things.
A shame that we have to leave so soon, but necessity demands it.
Beauty calls.
Yes, it is a shame we can't stay. There's potentially a lot we could have learned, but, we must do what we must do for the...
I do believe that once the Eternal Senate get their hands on their half of the knowledge in this library, we could try to arrange for us to also get access to the copies that.
Indeed.
Maybe so, or maybe not. The kindred are... Our kind is jealous of their own keepings. It's their boon, they might not be willing to share it.
And in truth, we don't know what they will do.
That we arrange. It would be a poor form for them to deny us such a request and have access to the copy.
Nicodemus shrugs. Yeah, we haven't asked a prize anyway. Thebes, right? This should be entertaining.
Thebes, is that not your home?
You remember that?
Occasionally things stick.
So now I would like to ask something to you, Nicodemus. Have you been embraced in Thebes in your home?
That's right.
And I would like to use animalism and to summon a bird to check on the road ahead of us if there's anything anything wrong or not.
Okay, well, you are traveling. You leave the city, you head north, and you cut just a little bit west. Nicodemus, you know for a fact that it's going to take 2 nights of travel.
Oh, not too bad. Where would we stop? Is there a city nearby on our first rest?
Not really. It's a pretty well-traveled route, and a lot of people just camp along the side of the road.
Nosy.
Also, a lot of people will sail. There are two rivers that flow on either side of Thebes, and a lot of people sail from Athens and they will sail up the river.
Should I roll for animal summon?
Yes, you should.
Okay. I'm going to be a little bit more specific with my summoning.
Okay.
Fealty pigeon.
You are
Or
summoning
wait.
a pigeon.
Is that a predator bird?
No, it is not. It is difficulty 7 for a pigeon. Manipulation plus animal ken.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it seems like pigeon is common enough, I believe. And
Wait. I was looking at
manipulation.
the wrong one. Call the wild. Call the wild. Charisma plus survival difficulty 6 is what you're looking for.
Okay. And I'm going to say fealty pigeon. That's how specific I'm going to be.
Okay. The pigeon that you want will show up.
Okay. And when it shows up, I'm just going to ask if there is something problematic on the road ahead of us. Going to check. I'm just going to check,
Many
if the road...
fires and the no
Shit.
sky predators.
Fuck. Shit, that was that. Okay, can you all see? God. I was meant to be included in a whisper. Oh God.
Okay, well, that's accidental. Everybody, ignore that.
Can you
Consider-
repeat it, Chris? Can you repeat what you said?
That thing Hatshep just typed is accidental. Everyone, ignore it.
No. The thing before that.
The
thing
bird
about
says there are many fires along the road. There are no sky predators, no hawks or owls.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I will need
fires?
somebody to navigate for us. Navigate along the road, somebody. Wits plus survival. Difficulty 6.
Who's knowledgeable in this?
I mean, I am quite good with nature, but this place not my home. So it might be better if someone else knows Athens better than me. It is outside Athens.
Cosmos looks about. I've been here a couple of times, but things have changed a lot.
I'm afraid I have not been here before.
Well, if there's no better tracker among us, I shall take it. I shall take it upon myself to discern.
I can help you if you wish. I'm kind of good at finding my road.
I shall also assist.
Okay, so that's 2 extra dice, wits plus survival. The problem with having an established track like this is that there are branches, and in the dark, in the cloudy night, it is still sprinkling off and on. You just don't want to get lost. You don't want to take the wrong track.
Nicodemus probably knows a thing or two about stars, so he tries to navigate through them. How's the weather like?
It's pretty cloudy. It's been very rainy lately. So as you travel through the wooded forest, the leaves are dripping wet. There's a sound of pitter-patter of rain everywhere. The road is muddy. It's slippery. The fires from campers are kept low because of the lack of dry wood.
Our clothes are soaked.
Okay. What's the difficulty like?
6.
Gonna spend a willpower for this.
And don't forget, you have 2 more dice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be 4.
Okay. The first night passes with no incidents. You guys find a good shelter. During the daytime, as you nap, as you slumber, the traffic passes you by unheeded. You all wake up the next night. Your gear is fine. Your donkeys are unmolested. Ihamus saddles everything up. He feeds them, gets them ready for another long night of travel.
Let me try this time, my friend.
All yours.
Okay,
Wits plus survival plus 2 dice.
right.
All right. The second night passes with no incident. You camp just outside of Thebes. Nicodemus, you're on home turf now. You recognize this area. You know the city is just beyond the next hill. Home, sweet home.
Oh, splendid. Now I know this place. Look, if you go this way, there's a small passage, and you can get right atop this hill, and we can have a great panorama of the city. In fact, I believe I should see my former home from this. Good times. Good times.
You don't look very excited, my dear.
I don't? That's probably because I've just let the greatest library I've ever been to, and I know I have unfinished business there. Sorry.
You have a opportunity to enjoy that library once a business.
Yes and no. Anyway, let's
That's
attend to the
just
business at hand.
perhaps this thought is going to make you more uh, amicable to this. When we return, I am sure that our host is going to have already acquired more volumes.
Our former host is a tough man to bargain with. I believe I may be striking myself out of options. But who knows?
He seems to have taken a liking to you.
That's not this sort of brouhaha. His business.
All right. Nicodemus. I need an intelligence, and just Nicodemus, an intelligence plus etiquette roll.
Ooh.
Yes, this is going to be
Intelligence
difficulty
plus-
6. You are trying to remember how to treat Bukaphos.
Oh, spending a willpower for this. Definitely intelligence plus, and yeah. That would be 2 successes.
Okay. 2 successes. I'm going to show you a handout, and you remember rules 1, 2, and 3 on this handout. You should see it momentarily. And I'm just going to show it to you. All right, so you should see it in the handout section.
Yeah.
Did you say I'm not supposed to read
Yep.
all of them?
You can say whatever you want to say. You just remember rules 1, 2, and 3 with 2 successes.
Okay, 1. Oh yes, he seemed to have a...
Now, do you guys remember the picture of Bukaphos that I sent all of you over Discord?
Okay, fast.
Yep.
I don't know.
That's okay, I can send it again.
Okay. I have purposely read only the things indicated. Okay. Well, my dear friends, um, our future host is going to be a very difficult person to go about. I hope Bina is going to have some insight after those three things I seem to recall about that will put more of a perspective. Our likes to be addressed as Didaskalos. He is it's a very crude meaning of word teacher. He likes to be addressed as Didaskalos Bukafos. Get deems we are supposed to stop outside of arm's reach of him. We're not supposed to make any loud noises nor bring weapons, and whatever we do not bring fire. And let's not speak of this at all.
Speak of what?
Of fire. Let's avoid. We'll probably be dealing in a very dim light environment, and there's going to be a lot of shadowy foreplay. I am certain.
When you say to stop outside of arm's reach, do you mean to stop just outside of arm's reach or keep some distance? Or just to in general keep some distance?
I think this is the optimal distance to be at, because it brings a sense of familiarity, at the same time keeping a room of personal space. As we've encountered, the princes typically like to have a sort of dominion, even though we're just visitors. So it's really giving them a room to maneuver with.
Also, could you someone please type their title so that I know how to fuck.
Name him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So, what are we going to do now then, my friend?
We are going to follow the first and foremost rule of etiquette. So we're going to make introductions. We need to find him directly. I believe he mentioned that. Is Nicodemus aware from his own? Yeah, it is. Let me restart it.
The Borg have taken Nicodemus. Oh no!
Oh no! Oh boy.
I need to go check on something real quick. I'll be right back.
All right, I'll tell you guys what.
Okay.
Let's take a 10-minute break while we're at it. Let's everybody just take a 10-minute break.
Okay.
All right. Okay, thanks for coming back from the break, everybody. We're gonna pick right back up where we left off. Nicodemus has been racking his brains as you guys travel, trying to remember everything he could about how to treat this La Sombra ruler, how he likes to be treated. Also, Bukafos and Albina can roll intelligence plus politics to recall some of what they've heard about this man.
Bukobos?
Albina
Yes.
and who? Who can roll?
Nicodemus and Albina.
Okay.
Wow.
Well, fuck.
Oof.
Albina, what you remember your sire telling you a story once where he tried to kill her, and she barely escaped.
Well, shit.
That was intelligence plus politics, right?
Correct.
Div 6.
Yep. Correct. All right. Nicodemus, as long as you follow his rules, what you remember is
Those 3.
he likes to talk to other Lasombra, especially his lineage. He will, and he likes to hang out in marketplaces. He likes to learn new stuff. He tries to stay relevant and up to date on the current news. And of course, he's quite famous for basically bankrolling the rebuilding of the whole city.
Oh, yeah. Is it a... Would it be a fair... Considering Nicodemus's upbringing, would it be... Is it a good leap of know-how to assume that he's probably investing in restoring Thebes to its geographical and political greatness?
Okay, everybody can make this roll. This is going to be a intelligence plus politics roll at difficulty 7. You're trying to interpret the historical behavior of this city-state.
7. Oof.
Anything different for Nicodemus since he's here and he's being
Yeah,
from
you're
a
a native.
family
I'll make it 6
statesman?
for you. I'll make it 6 for you. You're a native. You know this.
Not really.
All right.
I know nothing.
Albina got the most
Love you.
successes. Albina, what you remember is that this city switches sides a lot. They don't usually work with the dominant power of the region. They're almost always dropping allies as soon as they become very powerful and changing allies. That behavior got it razed to the ground by Alexander the Great. And it was just rebuilt about 100 years ago. So, as you talk about this amongst yourselves, trying to rack your brains for what you remember of the city, you finally pass the last hill, and you come up on Thebes, the city of the 7 gates. It sits between 2 rivers, and the view from the hill sloping towards the river is magnificent. As you can see from the map in front of you, there are several acropoli rising up above the foggy night. The walls are spread across the rivers, so that none of them are very continuous. If you didn't know any better, you would swear the city is almost impregnable, but given that it was burned to the ground, you know it is not. Somebody with sufficient skill can breach those walls.
Hopefully we won't end up like Oedipus Rex. The man had quite the complex.
Yep. The lower class resides on the plains, and most of the upper class resides on the acropoli. So anywhere where you see raised hills, the Agora Kadmae, the Kadmae itself, the Ismenius here, all these raised hills, those are all very rich sections of the town. All the stuff underneath it on the plains, that's where all the poor people live.
How large is the city?
It's decently wealthy and decently large. Not quite as large as Athens, but maybe the scale of Corinth.
But is it like loud?
Oh,
Is
loud?
there...
Oh, not from where you're at. You can't hear anything from where you're at. You have to get much closer.
I activate obfuscate and follow the Kotri.
We're looking at two possible locations. One are the marketplaces, and the other one are there's a lake to the north of the town, and someone mentioned that he likes to sail through this plane of water. But the marketplace is probably the best place to start. Does it seem like there are numerous marketplaces, or is it too difficult to tell from this hill?
Historically, there are many marketplaces. However, there is one major one, which is right about here, right on the northern part of the town.
Okay.
So that's one of the major ones. The other major one is between the Ismenias Hill and the Cadmia Hill down here.
Nicodemus recall where his mentor resides?
Yes, you remember that quite well. She resides in some caves underneath the Agora Cadmiae under here.
How difficult is it to get there?
It's easy. You come down off the hill, you cross a bridge, you pay the entrance fee to the gate. They will let you in. There's many travelers here. A northern dialect of Greek, not quite Macedonian, is being spoken here. It's a little bit different from Athens. When you close in from the gate, and as you begin walking up the central river, you notice that the city itself, you are still quite early in the evening. The city itself is busy. It's been a very warm day, so it's still warm right now. People are out and about. You don't really raise any eyebrows. Nobody pays you guys a second look.
Then we murder them all. Wait,
No. Well, hooray for diplomacy. So we have two options. We can go straight to the marketplace, or we can stop by assuming she's there, my mentor's home, and probably she'd give us pointers. But then again, she's very not a socialite type, so maybe this is a wasted effort at this point.
Yes, but she would
I was
also
gonna say,
love to see you.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
most certainly it would be. In fact, Labiena would probably like to meet her as well.
Indeed.
I am curious about
Also-
Josiah. I do not believe you told us much about her.
Nicodemus grins, but decides not to spoil the actual de facto, and he nods towards the crowd of people. Let's get to the marketplace first. Business first, pleasure second. I
was
think
gonna
we're
say,
all well armed with our impending meeting with the Didascalos. Oh, would Nicodemus recall the La Sombra's vanity for mirrors? Nicodemus, no.
Each La Sombra is a little bit different about that.
Because
OC, where are we on the map? We're going to say at number 3.
okay.
Yeah, each La Sombra reacts a little different to that. Some are very... They hate that, and some just don't care.
Mm, okay. What do you make of this, Albina? We know that he's very. He has some. He likes other of his clan. Maybe he shares some of the sentiments. Perhaps he could be found near the stands with the mirror merchants, just to as if a little adventurous tempting of fate.
Perhaps, but I worry. From what I remember, my sire, my bloodline, and his are not in the best of standings with each other.
Oh, I was hoping you would be the one to speak with our new host.
I can be, but I only hope that he does not ask me for my blood for who I
Well,
hail
it seems
from.
that he might, whether you'll be the one speaking to him or not.
Oh, sorry. I need to check on something again. I'll be right.
Okay.
Okay.
You see,
Can you repeat that?
we will see when the time comes.
Oh, well. Oh, let's just see how it goes, and let's
Yes,
look around.
you did you did you and Josiah do the two of you have any personal dealings or relationship with Book of Notes in the
Oh, not really. It was a really. In fact, I haven't had much dealings with the Prince of Thieves. Um, Please remind me, GM. I believe there were no scandalous things going about.
No,
I
not really. He said he's very well respected amongst the Lasombra. Uh, he is considered third in the clan, I would say. Lasombra himself being
Oh,
first.
nice.
and what about the well, what about the how Nicodemus was embraced? I mean, I'm
Oh
just
no, no,
asking to
there was
make
nothing
sure that.
scandalous about that, except for the fact that Falzia really wanted you for her
Mhm.
children instead. Um, but that being the case, it actually turned out very well for you.
Mhm.
So, yeah, there was nothing truly scandalous about it.
Okay.
Josiah when she embraced you, she must have required permission from him, correct? Perhaps she might know
Nicodemus
more.
rolls his eyes a little bit, and he simply states, "All was done according to our kind's laws." So there was nothing scandalous about it. There won't be the second Icarus is coming in Sparta. Don't worry about that.
Okay then.
Okay.
Hmm. So we're going to the market, to the biggest
Okay.
marketplace, and we're going to try and keep an eye out for Bukephos. It's his city, so I don't assume he'd be hiding in any way. He'd probably be his own galore, except he may be trying to play some shadowy tricks about on us
All right.
if he notices us. So we'll keep an eye on
So
that as well.
you guide them up the town to the north, and you notice the temples and the marketplaces, they're still the same, but the houses are changed, the tents are different, the same smells, and just it seems like there's familiar faces everywhere you look. But you know the names and the lives have all moved on. It's it's a renewal, but it's a sad reminder of the fact that you're stuck in time. That you haven't Your face and your name haven't changed, and yet you are here amongst your town where everything seems new almost.
Oh, we should probably avoid somewhere on the Ismenius Hill is a place where some of my family may still be around. We should probably avoid this place altogether. And oh, look, I remember this place. This is where I found my first. I mean, the person I analyzed. That was a nasty case of herpes.
I'm back.
Right. You eventually enter the marketplace, and it is very large. There's music. There are live performers, of course, playing the lyre. Uh, People playing drums, banging out simple beats. They are. There's still tents out. You can smell food. There's many people wandering back and forth across the market. Uh, you can hear people talking, sound of conversation. There's even people, the merchant sellers of gold and silver, jewelry, even people selling their bodies. Bukafos, well, first, everyone would please do a sight-based perception plus awareness roll, and Auspex, if you dare to use it, will help you out here.
No way.
If you dare to use it.
Perception.
So what's the normal difficulty then?
This is going to be 6, because you're just kind of scanning the crowd. Okay. Alright, so Sybil, Albana, Hatshepsut, the shadows are moving wrongly here. They don't move in the way you might expect. They seem deeper, darker than they do at other places. Labiena and Nicodemus, you guys are a little more perceptive, a little more attuned to the flow of energy here in this marketplace. And there is a man that you'll catch a glimpse of him, and then he'll disappear in the crowd, and he'll pop up again somewhere else as you're just kind of scanning. But at the same time, wherever he moves, there's a deep shadow that just seems to follow 7 or 8 feet behind him, 2 or 3 meters maybe. And it doesn't seem to be bothering anybody. But what you see is it'll be he'll walk past a tent, and this shadow will gather up in a cylinder and then slide along the ground and then pop up behind a torch. And then as he moves on to the next place, it'll slide into behind his feet and then slide over somewhere else. Dead giveaway of Olasabra. Just dead giveaway. Not even trying to hide it from someone who knows what to look for.
Nicodemus holds his pace just enough to level up with Albina, and he points out what he saw to make the most expert on La Sombra in the coterie.
Albina, now that it's pointed out to you, you can definitely see it.
I'll be in it too.
Is that like animated?
And Nicodemus whispers low, "Yes, keep your cool about you. This is a test. And we're in his domain."
Is that like an animated shadow? Or is that a fact of the version, the shadow for thing?
It's like an animated shadow.
Okay. Perhaps we should approach him.
Indeed. But where we will end up, it will be at his guessing. Nicodemus
be
follows the
good.
cues given, not striving to keep his cool about him and just trying to figure out where the La Sombra would expect them.
Oh, I suppose I should roll for him. Yeah.
Whoa.
He does
A
not
fail.
seem to be paying you guys much attention as he walks throughout the marketplace.
That's a tough one.
So this one Laviana kind of follows Nicodemus, knowing that
Especially
she saw what he saw.
Nicodemus. Mhm. Nicodemus is trying to follow him and to figure out where best would be to approach him. Like probably in a place where he's not preoccupied with anything, if that's a good guess. Because and trying to see the pattern in which he appears and disappears.
Well, you can easily follow him. He's not trying to hide. He's basically wandering the marketplace in a big circle, and then he cuts up and down the pathways to talk to the vendors and talk to the travelers. He seems to be gathering news, getting people's thoughts. Eventually, he reaches a somewhat more open area. It's been an hour, maybe 2 hours. The crowd has thinned out considerably. People are leaving to go to bed. However, he is still there catching the very last of the nightlife before everyone leaves. So the crowd is thinned out considerably. There's a lot more space to talk to him.
Nicodemus is trying to figure out what would be a good news to sell him as a bit of a tidbit to pique his interest. Something from the Roman and Carthage War would news of how Romans right. Corvus is a thing from the first Punic War or the second? Is it
First.
fresh? So it's old news. Okay.
Albina, perception plus occult, please. Add your obtenebration rating to this.
Ooh. This will be a huge dice pool.
Bukafos is doing something to the shadows around you guys. He seems to be hurting you in a direction. Like every time you start to move in a way, they get thick and you kind of veer around it. So he's almost guiding you to a certain spot.
Me too?
Everybody, the whole group.
Okay.
But only Albina notices this.
Okay. No, yeah. I just...
Go ahead, Albina.
Oh no, go ahead. Fuck. Sibyl.
This is for the obfuscate, that's why.
If you are following close enough to the group to see what they're doing, it's affecting you.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm gonna just tells the rest of the group. He's still aware of our presence. She's guiding us to where he desires to meet. And then she's going to try to follow the shadows, try to let the shadows guide her.
Eventually, almost everybody's gone, and you notice he has guided everybody to a kind of a three-sided courtyard. and he has placed his back to the brickwork.
Wait, courtyard. So is it closet?
No, it's like a three-sided spot where a couple of merchants would have set up, and they would have some stone or brick on a couple of sides to them.
Yes. So there are still humans near us.
Very, very few.
I see. Okay.
So he finally turns to face all of you guys. And as Albina has realized several minutes ago, he has been guiding you very subtly. He turns to look, and you realize the shadows have gotten very thick behind you. And you would not want to try to run away from this stuff. Or run through it, I should say. It almost dims the last few people that are out and about.
Does humans, like, I don't know, go away from the place, or are they
Yeah,
like,
they
follow?
are not even looking in this direction.
Does it seem there's hostile intent to it, or he's merely assuring his grasp of the situation?
I'm about to roll intimidation. This is a high-handed intimidation, if that makes sense.
Not necessarily for me.
Yeah, he's not making threatening gestures, or he's not, anything like that, but it's more like if you've ever seen The Godfather, how everyone pays him respect, that kind of intimidation.
I understand.
Okay, gotcha.
Oof. You know what? For the roleplay effect, I will say because of this success, I probably drop obfuscate because of the fear. Like, it's like affecting me in a moment that I just slip away, even if I don't need to condition. Even if I don't need to focus on it, I still drop the obfuscate because of the.
He holds a couple of trinkets in his hand that he bought through the night. He assumes a relaxed pose, but with his shoulders back, his head back, confident. Well, you have been polite enough to wait. Who would approach me tonight?
Nicodemus should say a very quick glance towards. Actually, no, he doesn't. He just waits if Albina moves.
Yeah, Abna steps out closer to Arflint, and she curses. Albina Palace, fuck. Didas Carlos Bocafnos.
Thank you for your greeting, Albina Palace. It's very nice to meet you. I believe I know your sire.
She feels she had a right heartbeat to be racing like right now. She says, "Oh,
I'm surprised she hasn't brought you to see me yet. She spoke quite highly of how you resisted the temptation of Azanil.
I'm sorry, but I was not aware that you were made aware of. I say I do not understand quite what is the relationship you have with my.
You are my grandchilda. Has she never told you?
She looks stuck, dumbstruck.
Of course. Your sire always was better at playing the political game than at mastering the arts of our kind. I have no doubt she intended to use you in the same fashion.
In the same fashion?
As a political pawn, it is a survival skill, but it should never be your true focus.
Politics a distraction, I find.
We have much time to discuss later, but I do so enjoy teaching those of my lineage. Perhaps we shall spend some time together, and I shall instruct you on the true. In fact, no, I shall do it. I shall do some now. A shadow drifts something over to him, and you see it's a bowl. And he takes the bowl and he says, using this bowl, explain to me the foundations. What is shadow? When we tap into this power, what are we doing?
Should I roll or should I just go and say what I've...
Just say what you want.
What is tapping is the very source of creation and of the end and of destruction.
You grasp some of the words, but not quite the essence. He takes the bowl and he turns it over, so the opening is towards the ground. This is the world that we walk on. This grass under our feet, the trees, the wind, the sea. But if we could gaze underneath it, what would we find?
The abyss?
Yes, that's correct. And he takes his hand and he just punches through the clay of the bowl. With his fingers, just like poof, punches through it like a bowling ball. The abyss, and then he pulls his hand out and shadows come out through the holes that he made. The abyss lies under and in and around. Shadows are the foundation of this world. I have heard it said that you cannot have shadows without light, and that is not true. In the Aristotelian sense, it's true. In the Plato sense, it's not. Plato had a better grasp of what the world was than Aristotle. The substance of the earth is ours. The spirit of the earth is ours to manipulate. When we inflict our will on the very substance of what makes up the spirit of this sphere, of this bowl, that is what we are doing when the shadows answer to our call. I shall reprimand your sire for failing in your education. In the meantime, who are the other guests that you have brought?
Hatshepsut will stand forward and give a bow. Hold on, let me just let me find the thing so that I don't. What's it? I am Hatshepsut of the followers of Set, Didaskalos Bukaphos.
Hatshepsuts of the followers of Set.
Yes.
You have a unique relationship with some of my kind. Have you spent much time with them?
Perhaps not as much as I would like.
Well, if you ever meet a follower of APEP, inform them I would like to have words with them.
Understood.
And who else amongst you?
My name is Sibel. I am the former witch of Balasho. As you can see, I am one of the, well, by the name of others, Love Clan member.
Lo Clan. Do not speak of yourself in such a hideous manner. There is... The Nosferatu are a valued part of my city.
I'm very humbled by your words, Prince. Thank you, thank you.
And there is one other amongst you.
Nicodemus steps forward, bows a little, and indeed, Didaskalos, I am Nicodemus.
Nicodemus, is that the crease of Salat I see on your head?
Indeed, I am of of Salubri. I was embraced in this city. I am of Arshak's blood.
Ah, yes, Arshak. It has been a decade since I've seen him. How time flies.
Nicodemus
you not-
maintains.
Now that I think about it, were you not under consideration of the Cappadocian Fausia?
This is correct, Didaskalos. The mistress of the shroud has considered me to be her child, but the fate has seen otherwise.
Yes, I have not seen her. Ah, now that I think of it, I haven't seen her for quite some time either. He walks up to you and hands you a piece of jewelry. He said, "I was actually just thinking of her tonight, and was going to give her this as a token of my respect. Do me a favor and give it to her for me."
Of course. Shall receive it at um, at this earliest convenience.
Ihamus will step up. He introduces himself. I'm Ihamus of the Followers of Set. I am honored to be here and in your presence. And the perception plus empathy, everyone who's looking at Bukafos and not at Ihamus.
So
You're
who's
probably
okay? Perception, empathy.
Yeah, if you are looking at the Lasombra and not the Setite.
Okay. So I did this before my
The Eclipse
introduction.
sight does apply to it?
Yes, it will. Sight will apply here.
Difficulty 6 is base
Yes.
difficulty.
Yes. All right.
Okay, so
That's
did you
just
say perception plus?
You
empathy?
think you saw an expression cross his face. You're not quite sure what to make of it. Nicodemus, as the Setite is speaking, you realize that it's not so much at the Setite himself, but it's at the words that were used, there's a little smirk of irritation, maybe. It's a quick flash, there and gone. Labiana, you definitely saw this, and you interpret it as the Setite was speaking, he was maybe a little too wordy, a little too flowery for the taste of Bukaphos.
So, with one success, how much do we see? I understand.
Very little. There's just like, maybe there was a look on his face, maybe not. I'm not quite sure.
But was it enough to understand if he also had some sort of twist when I said humble? When I said the Sibyl said, most humble words or something like that.
No, he didn't really let that change his face there.
Okay.
And I guess there's one other person.
At this point, Labiana will step forward. A respectful bow. Let's make sure I'm going to pronounce this properly. Didaskalos. What was his name again? Out of character.
Bukaphos.
Bukaphos. Thank you. Didaskalos. Fuck, my brain's not working today. Bufados. I don't know. Yeah, well, Labiana knows what his name is. I am Labiana Celia of Clan of Death. A pleasure.
Labiana Cilias. Do not believe I can recall your name. The Cappadocian Fausia makes her haven here, as you heard me just discussing. Have you made her acquaintance?
I regret that I do not believe that I have, but now that I'm aware of their presence, I would certainly make sure to pay them a visit whilst we are here.
Well, now that we have all introduced ourselves, tell me why you are here.
We have been sent here by the prince from Camillus to request you to come to join us in a meeting to discuss an alliance against the rising power of Mithras in Macedonia.
Oh, the rich irony. If only you knew. Oh, it's a great joy for tonight. And what is it that Camilla offers me? What can Camilla offer me that I do not already have?
It is unlikely Mithras is going to allow the city to remain as when I see rises alongside Macedon. The last time a Macedonian gathered power, the city burned.
Out of character question. Do I know anything about Eternal Senate and Rome?
No, you do not.
At least, okay, but not even how powerful they are?
No, not really. All you've heard, you know very little about the vampire politics of Rome.
Okay, not necessarily the prince, by the way.
The last time Macedonian gathered power, the city ruined. That would be a good opportunity to make sure that this not happens again. To strike while he's still gathering his power base, and to make sure that they're allies when the time comes, so that we may focus on the more fulfilling affairs, so that everyone may focus on more fulfilling affairs.
If Camilla is to send errand neonates to run his errands and expect me to hop to the beat of his fingers, he has another thing coming.
Of course not. The Cathars orphaners. He's going to. There will be concessions made. There will be offers made. There will be rewards provided. We are in. We are. There will be also others to the meeting.
Yes, rewards provided. Why don't you ask his sire if you can find him about Camilla's rewards for cooperating?
I'm sorry. She looks confused.
Ask if you can find him. Ask Camilla's sire if you can find him what the rewards are for cooperating with his vision.
I do not believe I ever met Camilla's sire.
He has not been seen in 400 years, and yet Camilla maintains he is alive.
Nicodemus chimed in. Camilla does not only hopes that you would grace the meeting with your presence. There is no obligation attached with it, obviously, and placed on the on Crete under the hostess of Helena of the Toreador. We know there will be many other kindred from all over the region to attend this.
I'll tell you what. I will appear under two conditions. The first is that if a hunt is called on Mithras, it is promised to me by the Eternal Senate that my fangs will be the only ones allowed to touch the ancient creature.
Mm-hmm.
Second, Camilla himself must personally bankroll and provide me with a quinquereme, the finest in Rome, stocked with the finest sailors and rowers, to be delivered here after the hostilities are complete.
That can be arranged.
We're out of character, yeah, we already made a promise to the gang roll.
Oh shit! Fuck.
So it seems like the decision is lying for now, or saying the truth.
Lying is not a good idea.
No, no.
Well, it's, I mean, lying, by lying, I mean sure, like, sure, you will do that. We just don't tell that we already promised it to someone else.
No,
That's a bad idea.
yeah.
Not with this guy. He would probably be better at screwing the gang.
Oh, it's Albina speaking. This is out of character decision. If she wants to do that, she can do it.
Yeah, she's not doing that.
I think I've
Yeah.
forgotten. What exactly did the Gangrel say? Did he also say that his fangs need to be the only fangs that touch the ancient kindred?
No, he. Oh my gosh.
I believe he said that he will kill the kindred, like for the glory or something like that.
Well, can we somehow wordplay on this? He said he wants to kill, and this guy wants his fangs to be on the only one who touch him.
Yeah, right.
Oh shit.
There is no need to wordplay on this. One wants to fight him. He wants the glory of being the one to defeat him. Defeat can be to topple him, and after toppled, Volcanoes.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. These aren't mutually exclusive if we go by the word exactly.
Basically tell him that due to prior negotiations, someone else must subdue him, but he shall be the only one allowed to drain Mithra.
We have spoken with fuck, what is the name of the Gangrel? I'll say Can.
No, it was Egota.
Egota. We have spoken with the Gangrel, Egota. He required to be the one to defeat Mithras in battle, should it come to this. But after he is defeated, after he has been brought down by Egota, I believe you can arrange for you to be the one to perform the deed of diabolizing him.
I see.
Egota seeks merely the glory behind the defeat of such a strong foe, not the potency of the blood.
Higota is a fool. He'll fall to the dominate of Mithras long before he gets within even striking range. But I agree. I shall give him his chance. Go see your mentor. I will send somebody down to finalize the agreement with you, and I shall expect suitable signatory proof of your agreement.
Prince Bukaphos, may I speak?
Oh shit.
What would you like, Sybil?
From my former life, I had gifts, the visions of seeing things. We may call it omens. And now that I have the chance, if you allow me to humbly to see any omens around you, I will be most thankful. Of course, if this request irritates you, I am very, very sorry.
You wish to owe me a favor by casting your omens on me?
I wish to read the omens around you. Not necessarily cast omens. It's vision of what will be. Not quite clear, but yet it's still something of relevance for the individual itself and any other who knows it.
Well, I have nothing else to do tonight. Why not?
Okay, I will probably take out my bag, take out the little table or something from it with the bones too, which is in a porch, I believe. Would be in a porch, I believe. Just ready the stuff.
So you unroll a sheepskin or a skin of animal leather, and anybody looking at this can see that it's got occult markings on it of some kind, but nothing that you guys are familiar with.
Hmm.
Damn.
Hat, for now, Hat is going to be constantly glancing between Bukafuth and
Sybil takes out a bag of, and you hear it clinking, and then she casts the bones on the mat. And she begins to read it. Make a perception or intelligence plus enigmas roll. So a perception plus enigmas or intelligence plus enigmas.
Okay, enigmas.
Yes.
Right, that's enigmas. I thought like, is there a skill like that for a second? Intelligence enigmas. And
So you said
difficulty?
6. There's really there are no omens right now around him. Nothing of
Okay.
fate significance.
Okay, so I see nothing.
You see nothing because there is nothing to be seen.
Okay, so I don't know how much time does this takes.
Not very long. A minute or two.
Okay, and I'm like probably looking at the stuff on the table rather than his face. And after like 1 and 2 minutes, I just look at his face and I say, well, it seems like there's only abyss around you. A blank spot, a void. I couldn't see anything of relevance.
oh, Sybil, you are funny. You should go perform in the marketplace and earn some coin. Of course, there's abyss around me. It's physically around me. It's physically around you.
Yes, and it seems like it might conceal my visions. It might be so efficient, so strong that it might be concealing my visions. But I ask you to forgive me for not making this time a word for you.
Well, if you are all done attempting to flatter me with failed gifts of insight, perhaps we could stop wasting time tonight and go on our business.
While he speaks, I probably like gather the stuff again and put it in the bag itself.
Of course, thank you for your time, Discals.
The shadows behind you guys are thinning out, and it's looking much more close to normal.
Yes, good evening, the Discals. Hat gives a somewhat nervous.
You guys, like, all of you nervously like look back towards the wall of shadows, except for Albina. Albina keeps her eyes on Bukaphos, and when they all look away except for her, he winks at her, steps backwards towards the wall, and the shadows swallow him, and he disappears. So she's the only one who sees that.
Fidemus looks where the prince was gone. We should be as well.
Yes. You wanted to go see your mentor, yes? Let's go there. Yes.
indeed. Let us go.
Yeah, it should be a bit of a trek, but I believe we should make it in short notice.
Abner wipes away a few bloody tears that run down her cheeks after watching these. What is essentially a demi-god to her, to learn that he's her grandson. She heads back to the group.
Ihamus is walking back with you guys, and he's like, "Well, that didn't go too bad, honestly."
Yeah,
Well, we have probably forgotten to ask about feeding rights, but yeah,
Oh.
it didn't go too bad.
it could have gone worse, yes.
I
At least they'll attend the summit. You know.
All right. Walking towards Falzia's haven. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Thebes is a good city, but it's still a big city, and one of the oldest professions in the world was thieves. So we're gonna roll a chance dice.
Oh god.
Would Nicodemus
You're a pretty big
recall
group.
trick to avoid?
There should not be anybody really stupid enough to mess with you guys.
Yeah. But again, because I'm Nosferatu, I'm under the obfuscate.
Nobody bothers you. Complete safety. You walk down the street.
Interesting.
On the way there, Ihamus finds stabling for the donkeys and carts. Gets it all taken care of. There is a crevice cave underneath the Agora Cadme. And you recall that is where Falzia kept her haven. And it's a little bit difficult to get into. So you turn sideways, and Nicodemus can guide you in there. And eventually you come up to a door that's been pretty thick door deep inside this cavern. And inside is the lair of Falzia, from what Nicodemus remembers.
Nicodemus looks towards the trinket he's been given by Bucaphos, and he tries to figure out the significance of it. Is that what could it mean? What kind of trinket is this?
A necklace of some kind.
Does it seem intricate enough to have any sort of hidden meaning?
No.
Well, probably a message that I haven't forgotten about you.
That's exactly what it is.
So Nicodemus tries to recall what was the trick of making your presence known to her, and how do you get inside?
It was not. If somebody has a barred from the inside, if she's home, there's really no trick to getting in. You just have to knock really loud. If she's not home, there is a trick.
Yeah. Well, let's hope. Let's hope for the best. So Nicodemus is going to knock.
We are inside the cave, right?
Yeah, you're inside a cave. It is very, very dark.
I would like to summon Red.
Okay. Manipulation plus animal, or charisma plus animal, Ken. Difficulty 6, summon rats.
Okay, not so much. Good. Not so. 1/4. Or
One
maybe
quarter of the available rats come up.
Right.
You guys hear squeak, 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 and the little skitter as about 200 rats come pouring into this cavern.
As I say, don't forget the pitter patter of little feet. Like,
Yes, the pitter patter of little rat feet, and
Um,
the swish
but-
of little tails as these rats come pouring into the cavern.
And-
Whoever is standing between the rats and Sybil gets buried as these rats just roll over you.
I think Indiana Jones.
I will leave that up to whoever wants to make a courage roll, or we're gonna say self-control roll at difficulty 3.
Yeah. While someone does it, I have to ask this: where do they come specifically from? Behind the door or
From
from?
cracks and crevices and outside
Okay.
and just
But is there okay? Like any red coming behind the door?
no, not from directly behind the door.
Okay.
Do you have protein to see in complete darkness?
No.
Yeah. I would assume one of you at least
Rats.
has a. In fact, I know Nicodemus at least has a light source where he can see through the cave. So
Mm.
yeah, these
So
rats come
someone.
rolling over Nicodemus, and he's like, "Oh God, ugh!" Maybe
Why,
having
why
bad
did you
reminders
do
of
that?
last time he faced down a horde of rats.
And I
Hatchet,
like
I believe you do. You should absolutely make a roll for this.
right.
Self-control,
At
right?
yes, at diff 5, 1+1 for you because they were attacking you.
Sorry, boy. Sorry, darling. I forgot
No,
how.
no, keep your lads for yourself. And frustratingly, Nicodemus tosses a rat.
Diff 7, did you say?
Diff 5, please.
Do I need to do this
You
as
will-
well?
Sure. If you
Oh,
like. It's
God.
a role play thing.
I sometimes misjudge the potency of
Come on, we're
my.
not on a hostile ground. You're disrespecting my mentor like that.
Uh, right, they're rats. I mean,
Hmm.
Now, what is your plan? No, come on, explain it to me.
what
What
is
was
my
your plan?
plan?
Why did you need a bloody rat for?
I will
Just-
ask question to them. Isn't it clear how
What
people
kind
do?
of questions?
If you listen, you will hear it. And I look at one of the eyes of one of the rats, whichever it is. I will. It has to be like 1-on-1, so I'm probably not going to, connect with all of them. And I tell one of the rats that, I just need one of them. And if he can, I don't know, send his friends back to their work or something like that.
So that's your plan? Summon rats, summon them back?
One of them. I just one of them to stay. And by the way, I'm not saying I'm saying this out of character. Like I'm saying this to Chris, what I want to do right now.
It's so weird. Hang on a minute. I need you guys to see this.
So as these rats come pouring in, you see Laviana like freeze up, like, "Oh shit!" And she gets really tense, and she starts shaking, and then she like slowly calms down as the rats leave. Like, oh shit! Oh, that was not fun.
Lol.
That
Okay.
close.
So Chris, as I said, I like connect Whisper of the Wild. I use Whisper of the Wild on one of the rats to
Okay.
connect with it, and I ask that rat gently to tell his friends to go back. I need just one of them to ask a question.
Squeak, and a bunch of rats leave.
Yeah. So when it's left, I'm going to ask that rat a question. Have you been around here, my dear?
Squeak, good food, lots of food. Yes, good food.
Good food. Human food.
Corpse food.
Corpse food, my dear?
Okay,
Meat,
sorry, I
lots
don't
of meat,
understand what you're saying.
rotting meat, good food, lots of food.
Nice. As I expected. Okay, you can go, my dear. Think for your answers.
The rat runs off.
Yeah. Well, I got my answer. So we are meeting with is clearly another Cappadocian, huh?
The thunk. And the door opens, and there is a tall figure in robes and a mask, carved wooden mask on the face. Takes one look at all of you, and jumps over to Nicodemus and puts it just grabs him in a huge bear hug, and a squeal of joy comes out from underneath this mask.
Good evening, Fazia. I hope we're not intruding upon your leisure time.
Um, Nicodemus. Oh, it's been so long. I'm so glad to see you. Come in. Come in. Bring your friends. Come in.
Of course, there's quite a lot of them, as you see. I hope it's not a problem.
Yeah, as long as they don't mind the screaming, it'll be okay.
Let's see. Nicodemus looks about all of his friends, and he points at Nostroza. I don't know about her, but the rest, yeah, we're solid.
Okay. Yeah, she leads you guys into the tunnel. Shuts the door behind you. Throws a couple of huge bolts. Thunk, thunk.
Unrestful nights. I hope not. All those precautions.
Oh, I had to add them after I came back. My new test subjects kept trying to get out. I needed a little extra time to catch them. Here, let me show you what I've been up to. You remember our time spent up north?
Oh, the Zimitsis. That was after I've recovered after those lengthy discussions. I wouldn't mind the second round sometime.
Well, here, let me show you what I've been putting to the test. What they taught me. And she
Splendid.
leads you into a little side tunnel, and you guys are all kind of crowded around looking as Nicodemus and Fawzia come up to this table. And there's a guy, and he's chained up on this table. And Nicodemus, his belly and chest are flayed open, just exposes internal organs.
Nicodemus
And she
looks
goes, "Look,
He's
so
been
my
thinking
corpses haven't been lasting very long, and I've been trying to figure out if there's a way to prolong them by putting living organs inside my corpse, and then corpse organs inside the living person to see if they will come back to life."
Well, that's risky. How do you compensate for the size differences?
Oh, that's what the knife is for.
Crude but effective. Let's see.
But I'm not making a lot of progress, but this one has been a little more promising. You see this tissue that inflates like a bag, and she points to the lungs.
Oh, you mean the lungs?
Yes, that's at the... So, this one had a very large mass of flesh in one of them, and I took that out, and I put it inside one of my corpse servants, and I took a fresh one from a body and put it in this one, and I managed to, for the first time, just last night, I managed to make it all merge. Now, you see how normally the rotting would be affecting it from the outside? Well, see, look at the healthy flesh down here, and she's like poking and prodding. This guy's like moaning, "Oh!" He's obviously awake. No anesthesia. "Oh, please help. Please. Oh, it hurts so bad. Please get me out of here." And she's like smacking his face. "Shut up. Shut up. I'm trying to talk."
Oh, I believe. Oh, hold on. I believe I have something for it. Let's see. He rummages through his bags, and he probably has some sort of herb that eases the pain and puts them to sleep, or sort of the unconscious state, so they don't wiggle too much.
Oh, Nicodemus, I missed you so much. You're so handy, so helpful with this stuff.
Now look. Also, if you shift his position a little bit, he won't wiggle as much as a reflexive, and you will have easier access to the organs.
Oh, I see. I see where it... Oh, I see how it puts less strain on his shoulder if you put a little block of clothing under him here. Yes,
Yes,
that makes sense here. Why don't I leave him in comfort to sleep off some of this? Why don't you introduce me to your new faces? Where's all the rest of your old crew? I see you're still friends with the La Sombra here, but everyone else is new.
Oh, well, the cycle of death has been taking its toll. I believe some of them decided to go and see how their afterlife looks like, unfortunately. But, well, the war effort is what pushed us here, unfortunately. I'd love to just have a lot of time to lock up and exchange notes with you. Oh, yeah, but where are my manners? So, yes, you know I'll be in a palace, of course. And this here is Hatshepsut of the followers of Set, and and right here is Icamus, also of the followers of Set, and here's Labina uh, of the Clan of Death. Perhaps you two will likely to exchange some notes as well. And here's Sybil of the Nosferatu clan. She's someone we picked up from Athens, and hopefully we'll get along as well.
Falzia pops her mask off and pulls her hood down, and she takes her mask and just like throws it on a nearby table. And you can see that the flesh of her face is like pale, that pale waxy white of obvious corpse, and it's stretched across her cheeks and her forehead, and her eyes are sunk down in, very deeply sunk. She does not look human in the least under her mask. This is very definitely corpse face. You can even see the tendons when she moves her mouth to talk. You can see them flexing.
You look beautiful.
She pushes past everybody, and she gives Labiana a big hug. Ah, a clansmate! Finally, someone finally comes down to see me, and she gives you a big hug, Labiana.
Labiana obviously realizing this is a clansman, initially taken aback at first, going, okay, but we'll reciprocate. Of course, given a moment. Oh, and I as well. I find it. I find that I don't see many of my clansmen these nights. It's always refreshing to see one of my own kind.
Oh, well, it's so hard to find nice corpses these days. Most of us are probably busy raiding the fresh graves before they can be burned. So listen, you two. Listen, the rest of you guys, just go down the chamber, down the hall, and there's a room with a fire pit. You can make yourself comfortable in there and sit around. I don't have a lot of entertainment. I don't get a lot of guests, but maybe you can try to teach some of the skeletons how to play dice or something.
And
I like
was
that.
recalled, oh yeah, I tried it one time. They are sore losers.
Would it be alright if I just attempt to, if I were just to stay here and listen in? I do find I'm not as educated on the subject of medicine as my compatriots here, but I do find it interesting.
It's up to them. Do you have facility with the magic of death? Because if you don't, a lot of this is not going to make sense to you.
Not the practiced arts, though I do know a list, though I do have a small amount of wild talent.
Well, if you're not going to be bored, so be it.
Oh, well, in the meantime, Albina, I would like to, try to do what I did to your grandfather. Maybe it would be much resultive when I look at you. Would you like to give it a try, my dear?
Do not, please feel free to go ahead.
So as you guys are doing that, she pulls
before
Nicodemus and Labiana over to another room. She
and
says, "So listen,
Nicodemus as they
I've been experimenting with the seal of Abamixtra, right? So, as you two of you know, or you should know, the seal as a whole functions by tying the necromantic energies and the energies of life and death, and it weaves it through the bone here, and then binds the ethereal spirit of Mother Earth and the afterlife. It infuses the skeleton with the energy necessary for it to rise and perform the tasks that we give, guided by us. So, what I've been trying to do is figure out if I can reverse that flow of energy and tie it into a life. Now, Nicodemus, you saw me working on that lung. However, I'm wondering if I can draw life and make it indefinitely last inside the seal. So you guys are bending over, and she is just like launching deep into the jargon of necromancy. And the water gets very deep very quick when she starts talking about this stuff. Labiana, make an intelligence plus occult roll, please.
Difficulty?
8. Very nice. Given her rapid fire presentation, you think you might have just picked up enough to learn the first level of Path of Bone.
I actually already have
You have
one
that.
path of phone. Yeah, that's why I thought I recognized the name. I'm like, I'm sure I have that.
Do you have the second level?
No.
You now have enough. Been given enough instruction to learn that as well. Awaken the Hominocular Servant.
That's the one.
Because she starts getting deep in the weeds of that seal and going up to the second level. How she's trying to fuse life and death through that combination. She's trying to make it so that it can stay alive and yet have the same functions and possibly be like somewhere between life and death.
Nicodemus is intrigued by this prospect, and he tries to chime in to figure out how to optimize the living body into going along with it.
And here's the thing that really makes it unusual: the advanced masters of the Zamisi art of flesh crafting can do this with their own body. They don't need to do this.
Really? It is fascinating.
Yeah, so as she is very swift. Anybody else listening in is very swiftly getting lost as she gets more and more arcane into talking about the similarities between necromancy and vicissitude, trying to tie them between life and death and produce some sort of vampiric gateway almost. And she obviously loves talking about this. She just keeps going and going and going.
Hat is making as many notes as she can, even if she doesn't know what they mean. Maybe she'll be able to look back at some of them and be like, "Oh, that's what that means."
Yeah, same.
Yeah, same. Nicodemus looks at it from his own standpoint, trying to draw some parallels and how it
Would
can
I be
improve
able?
his own.
Would I be able to add anything to the conversation on the vicissitude part?
let's look at some abyssal stuff and see what she can add.
Wait, so Albina was with them.
Sorry, what? Oh, I mean, I assume you are doing this on the same place.
Um, yeah, you guys are all kind of like anybody watching this. The room's not that big, so anybody, Nicodemus and Fawzia are inside the room itself. Hatshep sits kind of like jammed in the doorway. Everybody else is peeking their head around, trying to listen in as she talks.
I see. Yeah. I would actually like to use my mirror to remember all of that 100%. You know, the merit
All right,
which
you're
needs
gonna have to make a intelligence roll.
to remember it, right?
Yes, because this is not easy, as she's going
Right.
fast.
It's pure intelligence.
Mental merits.
Right. You can read the description in my
Uh-huh.
sheet.
With a moment's reflection, you can recall anything you observed or experienced. Stressful situation, blah blah blah. Yes. Roll intelligence to concentrate.
Okay.
All right, you are catching most of it. Even if you
Right.
don't understand whatever it is she's going on about, you're catching some of it.
Right, remembering it. So at future, maybe I will recall it. I don't know.
Yeah.
If it comes to it.
And so she just keeps going and going, and occasionally Labiana is injecting some stuff. Labiana, you have something to add. She keeps looking up at you like, what do you guys think of this? And what do you think of this?
Well, that seems like it could work. How about if you do? Now, I'm not going to go into detail because I'd have to go through the books and stuff. But, Labian is essentially just going to go, well, how about doing this, this, and maybe putting this over here and, attaching this to that and, see what happens.
Oh, I could try that. Use the bone crafting power to form a seal out of its own skeleton instead of trying to lay one over it. I see what you're aiming for there. Nicodemus, if somebody was living, would that work?
Let's see. There are some crucial organs we should probably avoid, while some others, like this one here, should be flexible enough to cope with the changes. You know, yeah. Well, the key point thing is to find a proper subject. I think this one seems to be living up to its course. As you can see, this liver here is quite distracted. You should probably look for those that drink less and do not inebriate them with herbs too much. Yeah, I think the trick is to find a healthy subject, not as much for the appendages. I mean the arms and legs, but more into the way they feed. Well, maybe you could introduce some health plan to your prospects. I fear you'd have to invest in some of the populace to make to make progress with healthy objects.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not really my thing. I had to work hard enough just to get these bodies and to find my living subjects, trying to get people who won't be missed. Hey, maybe you guys can find somebody for me.
Well, here's the trick. What if your work to improve some of the things they've lost? Like, for instance, some of those things I could imagine could help those who are crippled, but are still living and still breathing. Do you get my drift? Like soldiers or something. Some of those makeshifts could restore their workings, so perhaps they could agree on this term.
Have you thought perhaps about buying slaves and raising them as required to your specific experiment?
Yeah, I don't really care about people's lives.
Well, but no, I understand. But the trick is you want a willing subjects. If they
Willing?
have a
I don't need
prospect
willing.
of
I just need healthy. That's what you said, right?
yes,
Ah,
and you need living ones, living healthy ones. Now living healthy ones are not exactly dying, so they don't have much to
oh,
resist for.
living. You said. I thought you said willing. Yeah, yeah. No, you're right. I need living and healthy. There's a whole bunch of people living above me that are both living and healthy. Unfortunately, it draws the wrong attention if I just send a whole bunch of skeletons up there to grab them.
Yeah,
You could buy
that,
slaves.
that's the trick. Maybe you can find some slaves that are like, yeah, that's what I said, that they're crippled and, well, mm,
Well,
Well,
we can.
I don't know. I got
On the fire pit, yeah.
If you desire, we can buy the slaves ourselves and bring them over to you.
does it look like I have a bunch of money to buy slaves?
No, but I believe that we might be able to provide you some.
Hey, get me a couple of healthy slaves and I'll owe you guys a favor.
I believe that can be arranged. Do I have enough money with me to buy a few slaves, a few healthy ones?
Um, between you and the group pool of money you do, it's just
Okay.
finding a slave market here, and if Thebes had a slave market,
Um,
Does it?
out of character, does any of our party have dominate? Anyone?
Do, but they're not going missing part that might be a trouble with using my, depending on who it is, start a search or something like
This is all.
Well, I think my friends are having a problem for the not will be missed part rather than healthy and living, I presume.
Yeah.
Wouldn't a simple homeless guy do the job?
The homeless tend to not be in the best of health.
not
That is
very.
also correct, but they will not be remembered.
Also, the healthy slaves, unfortunately, will yield some money.
Unless perhaps we can persuade his master to part for less than what they are worth.
Maybe there are some convicts, sentenced to die or something like that.
Maybe why we can get them out.
I presume if we go to the prince, the result would not be useful for anybody.
she goes, "Well, look, while you guys argue about that, I need to get back to work here. So, if Nicodemus and Labienne, if you want to stay and help me, that'd be great. If the rest of you guys want to go get me some subjects, that would be great too."
Well, most
Yeah, that
definitely.
sounds like a good plan. Nicodemus is suddenly too eager to continue studying rather than worry about abducting some livestock.
As does La Biena. Also being cat version.
I'm not the
Sure.
social one.
Is there a slave market that we may go to?
That's going to be for Nicodemus to answer, because as far as Falzia is concerned, the rest of you guys are already on your mission. She's back to work. So she goes, okay, so Laviana, look here. And she starts explaining a super minute detail. Look at this and look at this, right? And she starts like going over a super nitpicky little thing. As you guys are like, hey, so where's the slave market? She's like, yeah, whatever. It's somewhere north. I don't care. Somewhere.
Nicodemus tries to recall whether there is a slave market and whether there would actually be someone selling slaves there at this hour.
At this hour, no, there would not be. But there are slave markets here.
Well, there we go.
Be right back.
We can look into it the next night, assuming we're staying that long.
Honestly, I think we have a relatively short time. And the
Yes.
mission here is done.
Yes, we should take this this night off, and we should depart the next one. Fortunately, the revisiting of Thebes for me will have to wait.
Nicodemus and Labiena both need to make me some conscience rolls at difficulty 6. You are literally helping this woman do mad science experiments on living people.
Yeah.
I was wondering when this was going to come up.
You know what? What would be funny? A Cappadocian friend. Like they're making experiments on a living human, and the healer saloon is just using the heal ability.
Hey, you just had but you just had an example how it could work. A lot of stuff she's saying could actually be used in the longer run to improve the quality of health.
Yeah.
What was the difficulty?
6.
So
6.
during this course, Nicodemus has been trying to weasel out his pointers out to how to improve the subject's constitution. It probably changes nothing in the roles, but hey.
Here's what I'll do.
And
if you want to make the roll difficulty 8 with nothing risked, I'm gonna take it back. If you make the roll difficulty 8 and succeed, I'll give you an experience point towards your humanity.
Okay.
Or you can make it a flat difficulty 6 with nothing other than that diff 6.
If he fails, he loses 1, right?
Correct.
Well, that's considering he's been trying to. I think I'm gonna risk it because it makes sense for him to. I assume it's that he's been trying to make it both humane
you've been
and
trying to
and
do the
scholarly.
right thing, the human thing, and see where good can come out of this.
Okay, I assume this is not the role that willpower can.
No, this is just.
Right?
Can you handle what you're seeing and doing?
Okay. Let's go.
All right. Nicodemus, 1 experience point towards your humanity.
Awesome.
Laviena, you have no problems doing any of this. This is fun.
It is fun for Nicodemus in a morbid kind of way. He's treading this weird line between fascination and compassion for this poor man.
Labiana, I suppose, is starting to give in to the fascination in lieu of the compassion.
So, if you guys have ever seen Bill Nye the Science Guy, um, she's got that kind of manic energy about her, where she just loves to do what she's doing, and she just loves to talk about it. And the fact that you are also as into it as she is just keeps feeding off of itself.
Nicodemus knows it. He's been experiencing that for a couple of times, and some of the scenes he's caused, uh, on a handful of times, he deliberately caused a near drop down of a person during feeding just to see what will happen. He knows this sick fascination, and it has an allure for him. But at the same time, he has to battle his own beast.
I'm
And he
back.
knows
So
it's a very thin line. So while she's poking in a random, in a seemingly random pattern across the man's organs, he's like, "Don't poke there. The subject will rot and compromise the progress. Poke here. This is a very flexible organ that can take the stain, and you can improve the chances by working on this one."
Yeah, and one of the things you guys see is when she's moving flesh and stuff around, she's actually grabbing it, and it's like kneading really thick dough. She's like squeezing it and pushing it out of the way, and the flesh just moves. So she doesn't have to cut it. She's using vicissitude to, peel the stuff out of the way.
Avna is going to head out and look for subjects for her. The healthy homeless or someone like that, healthy vagrant, healthy prostitutes.
Okay, so Albana's going to be making a couple of different rolls. First, you're going to be making some perception plus. Well, no, we're going to go with wits plus legerdemain to find your way around.
I'm going to use a willpower on this.
Okay? And this is going to be standard difficulty of 6. And let's see what the weather is tonight. Alright, it's pretty dark outside, very cloudy. Not wet though. It's just damp, but it's not raining.
Okay,
you
so
know
one success.
approximately where the cave entrance is, and you know the hill that you need to point yourself to. So, with nothing else, you at least can think you can get back to where you started.
Okay.
Alright, so you start wandering through the streets, and this is you by yourself, and you're a beautiful young woman.
Oof.
I'm going to give you a 30, but it is very late at night, so I'm going to say 35% chance. Whew, that's close. Nobody seems to be paying too much attention to you. You get a couple of weird looks, but nothing too bad. There are homeless people here living by the river, curled up underneath the public benches, the same as you see in any large city today. A few groups of them huddled here and there for body warmth.
Does any of them look to be healthy? How anyone that's recently homeless, something like.
Well, roll wits plus medicine, difficulty 6.
Again, I'm going to use another willpower.
Okay? All right. So anyone who is terribly unhealthy, especially the old or the really young, would probably have died by now. So anybody is at least reasonably healthy, strong enough to survive the outdoors and be homeless.
Okay. Who looks to be those that look to be young, like the youngest among the bunch? The youngest among the healthy.
Um, you're gonna have to get a little bit closer to them and actually like roll them over and disturb them.
Hmm. Those that seems to be girls or or just men. Like, how do they seem to
The
be against
girls are
this?
all sleeping with people, so uh, the several of them are sleeping in groups together. There's a couple that are kind of off to the side by themselves. That would probably be a little easier to disturb.
Okay, so I'm going to try to approach them.
Okay, yeah, you can do that, no problem.
I'm going to try to entice one of them with a bit of.
Uh, you can. So you walk up to one of them and he's sleeping by himself, with just some vegetative matter pulled over him to help insulate him from the air. And the you can see it's a guy, bearded. Uh, if you had to guess, you'd say 20s, maybe very late teens. So you can easily grab him, wake him up, talk to him, whatever you want to do.
Yes, I'm going to wake him up. I'm going to uh, try to, show him the coin and try to get him to get off the group and come. Try to get him to grab my hand with the coin.
Um, so you shake him, and he wakes up. He's like, "What? What?" And he sees the coin. You start dangling it in front of him. And he's like, "What do you want for that?"
I'm going to say, look at me.
You say that again?
I'm going to tell him to look at me.
Okay, he looks at you.
And I'm going to stand next to him.
Okay.
Then I'm going to say for him, follow me, uh, follow me quietly.
Okay. Make your roll, please. Difficulty's gonna be 2.
And then it turns out to be a bone gnaw.
Shit.
Knowing our luck with werewolves.
Well, you didn't botch any rolls, so all right. He can. There is no possible way he can beat that. He slides the vegetative matter off of him and gets up as quietly as he can, which is not that quiet, as he's kind of shivering and shaking because he's cold. And
Can I cover him with my own robes?
well, he starts following you. If you stop, he'll stop, and you can throw a robe over him. He's like, "Oh, thank you, thank you." And he's, his arms are crossed over his chest, and he's kind of hunched over, shivering a little bit, and pulls your robe close around him and keeps following you.
I guide him. I guide him over with me, and along the way, I'm going to search for some girl. Someone that also looks again young and strong, young and healthy.
Okay. Uh, we're just gonna do a luck roll on that. Would you like high or low?
Hi.
Uh, any girls that you do see seem to be in the middle of big crowds.
Seems to be in middle.
Yeah, of 4 or 5 people. So there's not really
Okay,
one that's terribly approachable.
There are no prostitutes around, no one that I
Not this late at night. This is maybe 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
Well, you know what? There might be 1 or 2 out, just doing whatever they can. I'll give you, let's say, high or low again.
Hi.
There you go. There's one. She's not young though. She's much older. And she's walking the streets. She looks pretty beat up, pretty older, maybe 50s, grayish hair.
Is it good? Use that picture you used for
Yeah.
the first.
Yes, it's not Mary Bell.
Oh God.
Yeah, that was terrible. No, this is Mary Bell's grandmother.
Dear God.
No.
Yeah, no.
Oh my
fuck
God.
that. Fuck that. Yeah, no. I imagine that. Yeah. So yeah, that I'm just going to take the guy along with me. I'm going to look for another one. Some more people. Some other homeless along.
Sure, there are definitely some in the area. So you can easily find them. They are around. Again, it's just the girls that seem to be and not that approachable.
So yeah, I'm going to keep looking for a few more vagrants, street urchins, stuff like that. People that I can entice with a bit of coin to looking at me, and I.
Yeah, there's one more. You can you can easily get another guy. Make your dominate roll again. I doubt this is gonna happen, but what's your charisma plus subterfuge?
And I rolled that wrong at difficulty 4. That is 2 successes extra, but my charisma plus my
4.
subterfuge
No.
was-
Okay, he can't beat that. All I saw was the 2. He can't beat that. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 successes. Yeah, with 2 willpower, not gonna happen. Yeah, so you get 2 guys that are now following you.
So yeah, I bring them along to the place of the Cappadocian.
All right, so that's going to be another. And this is going to be intelligence plus legerdemain. Find your way back. You remember where it was at. You can get a visual guidance. Just don't get lost on your way there.
Okay, I'm going to use another willpower on this.
Okay.
Oh,
Fuck. This is
not a botch, thankfully.
Not a botch.
Not a botch?
It is a botch.
No, he's
Thank
following
you.
you.
the willpower.
Oh, it still makes it -1.
No. At
Or
least one
using it
success
for auto
to avoid
success.
botch.
Yeah. If you get at least 1 success, there's no botch.
Even if that success is cancelled out.
Correct. Yes.
Like, the only exception is some very specific flaws that outright turn successes into fail.
Yeah. All right. You're not irrevocably lost. You still have a visual indicator where you're going. You just can't seem to find your way there. You can roll again.
A difficulty higher or the same difficulty?
Same difficulty. You just spent some time wandering around.
Okay, so I'm going to use my another willpower.
This time you got it. Oh, I remember the path. That was the path. You take the guys up, and they still continue to follow you. And you start slipping through the crack, and they go in with you.
And I bring them over to the to the
As she brings the test subjects in, As Hatshepsut's watching, the two Cappadocians and the Salubri work, she's just gonna idly speculate aloud. I wonder if it'd be possible to bind a wraith to a corpse by implanting a fetter.
She as you guys are all talking about that, and Hatshepsut asks that question, she looks up. She goes, "Oh yeah, we can do that." And she goes back to what she was doing. Yeah, you really don't want to do that though, unless you know how to control them. That's really bad because the first thing they'll do is attack you.
Noted.
All right. So you guys are at this for 2 or 3 hours, and Albina makes her way back in with two guys following behind her. The door shuts, the slugs get thrown, thonk, thonk. Actually, Albina's going to have to knock, and somebody's going to have to let her in. No, you know what? Nobody locked it behind her. She doesn't have to knock. She just goes in. Two guys behind her. You're up, Albina.
I look over. I approach the Cappadocian with the two guys in tow.
Okay. They're looking around. They are really scared right now. They are pretty frightened.
I'm going to lock the door behind me.
Yep. Everyone hears the bolts get thrown. Ka-thunk, ka-thunk, as she throws these bolts.
I have brought what you requested.
She turns around and the two men, and she looks and she sees the two men standing behind you, like they're kind of like peeked around the opening to the little side cave, and they scream. Ah!
Hat gets up, looks at one of them, and activates.
They both turn and they're running for the door, and they're like tripping over each other. Get out of my way! Trying to fight to be the first to get there. Just like any horror movie. Ah! Oh my god! Oh my god! Help us, somebody! They're screaming. Ah!
Laviana kind of sighs and shakes her head.
That's not. Oh yeah, this place is probably soundproof.
Yeah.
Are they like not letting me to go outside the cave because of being in front of the door?
Sybil, were you inside the cave or outside the cave when Albina came in?
It's dependent on you. Like I wrote just like.
I would like you to tell me, were you inside the door or outside the door?
Before Albina came in.
When Albina came in, where are you?
Okay, I will say simulus. Wait, I don't know how to pronounce that word. Simulations? I will probably think it will be the same moment that he comes. I look at his face while he goes through the door. I go outside the cave.
So you are outside the door at the cave entrance. Okay.
Yes. Like
so
I will.
You are outside the door. Albina goes in. The two guys go in. The door shuts. And then you hear the bolts get thrown. Thunk, thunk. And then you hear from behind this very thick door. And then beating and pounding, and as two guys are struggling. And Fawzia is like, would you two handle that, please? Please handle that. And she turns back to what she was doing.
Right. I probably will go outside the cave at
Sybil,
this
you
point.
are outside. You can't do anything right now.
Okay. When you said you two, I thought like you meant me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Hat and Albina.
Hat's gonna try and just try to activate her Serpentis one, try to get the attention of one of them, and basically just try and nab them with the paralyzing gland.
Yeah, you go up to one of them and you kind of tap on his shoulder and pull on him. He turns around and looks at you, and he's instantly captivated. Falls quiet, gets relaxed, just stares at your eyes, under the hypnotic effect. Meanwhile, the other guy, now that he's not distracted, gets one bolt thrown. Ka-thunk! Oh! And he starts trying to pull on the other one real hard.
Albina, please deal with that.
Go and I'm going to try to grapple him.
Strength plus brawl, difficulty 4. Plus potence.
I'm going to use my 1 blood point to get automatic 3 success.
Okay. Please roll the rest of your dice.
And question, do I add my potence to the dice pool and I got the auto successes, or do I
No,
not
you do
add it?
If you've made them automatic, you do not add to the dice pool.
Okay. Difficulty of what?
4. His back is to you. He is not paying any attention to you.
So thankfully 3 success.
Well, 2 is all that's really needed. You guys grapple. You walk up behind him and you just get him in a bear hug. Just whack. Wrap your arms around him. And he's like, "Get off of me! Oh my god! Oh my god!" He's just like screaming and like trying to open the door and shove you off at the same time. And he's not having a lot of success here.
I'm going to try to force him to look at me and dominate him and say to get him like what's the word, to stop fighting us, stop trying to escape.
All right. So this can be a split action for you. Strength plus brawl. Make him turn around and face you in the eyes. This is going to be difficulty 7, minus 1 dice.
Again, using the potence.
Okay, so that's 3 automatic successes. All right, 4. Yeah, you you turn him around so that he's facing you. And this is going to be difficulty 5. Dominate diff 5.
To tell him to stop trying to
Actually,
escape.
diff 6, because he's also not looking at you. He wants to turn back around. So, diff 6.
Yeah, resisting.
It's he's not looking, and he is this is against his survival instinct.
1 success.
Yep, we're gonna. Wow. No, and on an 8 and a 10, I think he manages to resist your dominate, and he turns back around. And I'll give him a straight dexterity roll. You hear the ka-thunk as the second bolt gets thrown.
Oh, he's trying to open the boat while I'm grappling him.
Yep. Now, it opens inwards, so this is not as easy for him as it sounds.
Okay, can I try to just grab him away from the boat then before I do it?
Yeah, you can grab him again.
I mean,
And
like
again,
drag him
strength
away
plus
from the
brawl,
door.
You can grab him. Gajunk! You get a hold of him. I'm not even going to make you roll for that. You get a hold of him. It's an action, but you got him.
Okay, can I drag him away from the door?
Yep, straight up strength. Just pull him out. Pull him away. Strength plus
Okay,
potent.
yeah.
If you're spending a
Is it
blood,
a
it's 3 auto.
Is it a contested roll?
Yes, it is.
Oh yeah, spending a blood.
Okay. Yeah, you just start dragging the guy backwards as he's holding on to this, and the door actually opens as you're dragging him backwards. So Sybil, the door opens and you see her dragging this guy, and you hear the door. It goes, "Ah!" As the door opens and the sound starts getting out, and she just yanks him away from the door. Let go of that! Ugh! And pulls him away and starts dragging him back down the cave.
I continue to my summoning.
All right, so Sybil, you're summoning a rat. Same rat.
Yeah, same that I spoke, several hours earlier.
Okay. Go ahead and make your animalism roll.
I already made it above.
Okay.
By
It's
the way,
4 success.
All right, so the rat shows up.
Yeah. I will use Whisper of Wild, first power to ask him that if he ever, saw someone as handsome as me mm, under the city or something like that. I'm essentially trying to figure out if it saw any Nosferatu other
All right.
than me.
Call high or low. Sybil, high or low. Sybil, high or low. Dennis.
Um, hi.
Yeah, there's several of them.
I tell the rat if he can, I'm not commanding by the way, just asking gently, if he can go to one of those and let him know I want to speak with him here front of the cave. And yeah, that's it.
Yeah, sure, I can do that.
Right, and then I'm just waiting for some Nosferatu to show up front of me.
Yeah, probably won't happen tonight. I have to be tomorrow night. But yeah, all right. So Hatshep said you are steadily walking backwards, and the guy is following you as you pull away from the door. Albina is just brute force, just dragging this guy backwards, and he's struggling. No, please let me go. Please let me go. Oh! Grabbing at any opening, the rocks, anything he can get. And she's just, every time he gets a hold, she just goes yank, whack, yank, and his grip breaks, and just mercilessly drags him backwards. He cannot stop it.
Suppose in the meantime, Labiena will go and reclose the door and secure it,
Okay, perfect.
just in case.
well, so yeah, I think it's a given what our final rolls of the night are gonna.
Conscience?
Yeah.
Well, not necessarily, because you guys aren't the ones doing anything to him. So Fawzia takes each of them off of your hands and puts them around a little stone like outcropping, and she just takes their hands and she claps them together, and you see her squeeze like real hard, pushes, and the flesh kind of like balloons up between her fingers like putty, and she lets go and their hands are merged together. And she does it to first one guy, then the other.
Wow.
And she's like, hey, that's awesome. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that.
It is a pleasure.
Now, you know that she's going to do some terrible, terrible things to these people.
Mm-hmm.
This is a no traits risk humanity roll, because you're not the ones making them. You can roll your humanity, conscience humanity, difficulty 9, no traits risk at all. If you succeed, I will give you an experience point, but require that you do something.
Did conscience and humanity together, or
Nope,
just one
conscience.
of them?
Just conscience. If you fail or botch, there's no consequence here. You're not the ones being bad. All right. Yep. Albina, you feel no compunction at all to do anything here. You're not the one hurting these people.
I'm not going to make the.
Yep. There's no stigma to not rolling.
Mm.
All right.
What? Well, what's the trade-off again?
If you succeed in your conscience roll, you'll be compelled to do something about this. Now, Nicodemus, you have an option open to you that's not really available to everyone else. If you succeed, you can provide enough medicine to basically knock them out, keep them out of it until they die.
Right.
I'm not certain if I fully grasp the situation, but I somehow feel it makes sense for him to participate in this. So this is a what's the difficulty or what's the
9.
roll again?
Straight conscience roll, difficulty 9.
And what are the consequences?
If you fail, nothing. There's no consequence. This is nothing's risked.
Okay. I must have been not hearing this.
Yeah.
Right. Let's do the roll and see what happens. No
Okay.
success.
Yeah, you're not the one doing this. You don't feel compelled to do or say anything. This is not really your problem. Welcome to life with a Cappadocian on the road of bones.
Oh,
Right.
Nicodemus has been walking this thin line for a while.
This is life with a Cappadocian who values knowledge over everything else.
Yep. Labiana now is 2 dots.
I mean, you got to do the experience expenditure for it, but you are allowed to do that. So.
Right. Just have to bring up my what do you call it again?
So, you guys were all inside her cavern. She makes sure you can. You guys definitely are welcome guests here. If you feel comfortable sleeping through the screams and moans of people in terrible pain, you're welcome to stay in her corpse cabin. I don't know why I just blanked out on what that's actually called, but if you're not comfortable with that, you are free to seek other accommodations.
Has the gift on Bookafos have already been delivered to her?
Oh yes. This whole research has made it slip my mind, but it seems our noble Didaskalos has made a point to be known to you that he still remembers about your presence, and Nicodemus shows her the gift he has procured for her.
She gets it, and she looks at it. She goes, "Oh, how sweet! He remembered me. I didn't know he could do sweet." And she wraps it around her wrist and like ties it. I'll have to drop by his place sometime.
It seems he's full of mysteries. How has been life in Thebes under his tutelage recently?
It's been lovely. He lets me do basically whatever I want, since I dispose of corpses for him and make sure that nothing exists to break the silence of the blood, and meanwhile he lets me do basically whatever I want, as long as I keep helping him out that way.
Fair deal. He hasn't tried to wrap you in any scheming and politics, hopefully.
No.
That's
I mean,
very
there
sweet
was
of
that
him indeed.
one time, but that wasn't really his fault. That was somebody trying to use my skeletons to take out somebody else, and he made sure that got put stop to. So,
Oh, really?
yeah.
What was that all about?
I never really cared to find out.
Interesting. How did I try to do it?
Oh, God, I don't know. I don't really remember. It was the last time your sire was in town, like 10 years ago? 12 years ago? I don't remember. They all blend together. Anyways, huge festival, people in clothes and masks and dancing through the streets, and they tried to get me to put my skeletons in costume, and were promising me a bunch of money and stuff, and the teacher, Bukfos, he heard about it, and he basically came to me and made sure that instead of my skeletons, it was his shadows under the sheets, and he took them both out at the same time. I don't really remember all the details, to be honest with you. Even those Canaanites, they all look the same to me after a while. Eventually, they all die, and they all come to me.
Yeah, but the fact that someone could take over your skeletons seems disturbing. I would be alarmed.
Yeah, I wasn't terribly concerned. None of them could get in to get me during the day, and Bukafos and I, we've got a good understanding. We work together pretty well. I don't bother him, and he doesn't bother me, and I make sure he knows if something stupid's about to happen that I'm aware of.
But you said my sire was here 10 years ago?
Yeah, he stopped by super fast. Talked to Bukafos for a bit, and he was basically in and out of the city really quick.
Did you say anything particular? Maybe he left something for me? Words?
No, I don't recall that he did. I know that's probably disappoints you, but he just seemed kind of in a hurry. I can tell you when he left, he went north. He didn't go south. He went north.
North. Well, thanks for this information. Disappointed? I don't know. I got used to him being all walking through his own destiny. And if he wanted me to figure out, well, the thing that I now know he's been here, he's probably clue enough. That's all that he wanted to know, for me to know.
You know what? It's occurred to me, I've been so selfish. I've been talking about me this whole time. Listen, the rest of you guys, go gather in the central chamber. Go give me some privacy.
Okay.
And she takes Nicodemus and she sets him down. And she does a couple little weird chants, and she kind of dances around a little bit and throws a little bit of blood on the ground. And she looks at you, Nicodemus. She goes, "Okay, that should stop anybody from eavesdropping on us. Why don't you tell me about yourself? What's been going on since last time we saw each other? I was so happy to see you. I just lost myself here."
What has changed?
Before you talk, who's listening in? Who's trying to spy?
I'm not.
Not Laviana. She's respecting their privacy.
Yeah, Albina is not going to fuck with her coterie.
Don't listen in on the bits you control them.
Okay, Sybil, how about you? Are you trying to spy?
No.
Okay, that's good. I'm gonna switch me and Nicodemus over to the private channel. So you
Okay.
guys talk amongst yourself for a few minutes. Come on. Come on. There it goes. Okay, you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
So Nicodemus allows himself a moment of pause, as if trying to think what to say. At the same time, he considers the situation. Is that unusual for her to behave like this?
No, it's not actually. She really, as much as one kindred can care about another, she cares, especially one on the road of bones.
So this is this weird anomaly that probably was that didn't send her into a raging fire after she learned she couldn't embrace Nicodemus. That they had always such a good rapport with. Uh, okay. Well, what's been happening to me? Quite a lot, in fact. How many years it has been? We've probably passed we probably missed 2 wars by now. Um, Seems that the prevalent thing that's been going around are the interference of Balai. It seems I am cursed to be meeting with them on occasion. Uh,
Oh no, not ball eye.
yes, you see, Fazia, you should know. I have no proof to say it, to be certain of it, but there were Balai in Corinth. Um, so you should take precaution and be wary whenever someone travels from the city and whenever you hope to go there, because um, the two offspring of the Prince of Corinth are connected to Balai in a way. Now, this is all from my pure senses, and I'm not telling this to you to go and investigate this or cause a ruckus or whatever else, because there is no proof to it. But I hope this knowledge will keep you safer.
Well, you know me, I'm not a fighter anyways, so I would never go down there and cause a ruckus.
Yes, I know, but you know the thing is they like to involve other of our kind, and well, not only of our kind, uh, in their scheming and politicking, uh, in their corruption. So I just hope you'll be spared this. Uh, yes, and the reason we keep bumping into them is because we're keep being on envoys of Rome, and we're traveling around Greece trying um, to put every kindred we meet into an alliance that will oppose Mithras. You've heard about Mithras and his dealings in Macedon.
You know, I did not even know he was in Macedonia. It's.
Yes, that's another threat that's looming about us. The ancient Methuselah is raising his ugly head once more, and Rome is sitting fit to create a front. Speaking of which, I don't suppose you'd be interested in this, but um, you're invited to attend this alliance meeting if you should so desire. Um, the, uh, the Didascalos has already been invited and he agreed to join in. So if you should find yourself keen on at least seeing about what this is all about, then the meeting's happening in June, July, some months from here on Crete.
Hmm. Well, I mean, seems like it's almost a once in a once in a millennium event. I don't know how I could pass it up. How
Well,
about how is life in Rome? How is life amongst the Salubri?
how it is. It's crazy in a way. Um, when I got there, I wasn't under the impression that I will find some kindred souls, but in a way, it's not, because they're very different from me, and it has been a tough line to walk between the two of them, because one embraces the different aspects. Obviously, I can comply with Abinadab that much easier, but there are some thresholds that are hard to go through, and it's been a sort of game for me to keep the good graces with them.
Are you any closer to understanding why your sire sent you there?
Yes, I think so. I think so. Because there is something that divides them, and I think it's perhaps either a test, or perhaps I can do some good eventually to try and reconcile, to mediate their dispute. It's But they are keeping their guard very high, and they don't want their secrets revealed. Keep digging in this and trying to figure out what could divide father and son so deeply.
Well, you know, you don't have to stay with them. You can always come and be with me.
Oh, well, uh, yes, yes. Thank you for these words. Um, However, I'm duty bound currently to Rome. But rest assured, I will have some time to spend, and see and compare notes with you. For I've been furthering my own research into medicine. Now I know, and you know, that we have different approaches to these things. But I've learned so much from your research, that I cannot see how the differences would make this excluding each other. In fact, I plan on a journey with my ghoul. I have a ghoul now. So weird, because my clansmates usually don't hate ghouls, and he's been doing quite a lot in research in medicine, and improving the quality of life in Rome. And we hope to learn more from our journeys. Perhaps our journeys could take us to Thebes, and he could experience some of your wisdom as well. Although the screams would be probably something that could challenge his resolve.
I would like that very much. I look forward to meeting him. So, listen, it's getting late. I'll talk with you again tomorrow. I want to make sure to spend some time with you before you leave. And, uh, you know, I miss you. I don't express
I miss.
myself like this very often, but I missed you.
I wish we could function in better times, where we could all just do what our passion dictates. These travels, while very fruitful and entertaining for me, and they give me the thrill of adventure, they keep me away from my most passion. So believe me when I say this, I'd really like to just settle down and just spend some time with you researching and going about. Nicodemus finds himself a bit lost for words as well, because even though Favzia is very bizarre to him on some levels, he really feels he has a connection with her.
Well, she hugs you again and she plants those dry, corpsey lips on your forehead. Let's go rejoin the others and prepare for our day's sleep.
Of course.
I think that might be a different. I'm pretty sure that might actually be a different person to Olympia.
Oh,
Okay. All right, we are back. We are. This is a good time to end the session. Everybody
right.
will be getting an experience point for tonight.
Okay.
Um,
I'm going to spend it on a lot of presents.
Yep. Let's see. I already told you, Labiana, you know you can buy that power. I think you said you were going to do that.
I most certainly am.
Of Vorpal, if you have the experience points to do it, you can spend a point of experience, or you can spend 10 to buy the first level of Necromancy. You have been taught sufficiently for the first
Cool.
level Path of Bones.
I
And
put
level
it
2 Path of
down.
Bones. Oh,
Put this on my sheet, but no experience points just yet.
All right. Guys, appreciate it. I will get with everybody. We'll get everybody in 2 weeks, so that'll be the 18th, I think, and we'll pick this up at the dusk of the next night.